Welcome in, and we are live here on a beautiful, fantastic Wednesday afternoon at Farm Bureau Field at Harlan Rogers Sports Complex in Fort Dodge. I am Emery Songer, and I am joined by my friend Owen Sebring, getting set to bring a semifinal matchup in Class 1A between the defending Class 1A state champions, the Clarksville Indians, and their opponents, the always ever-present St. Edmund Gales here from Fort Dodge. Owen, two teams we've gotten a chance to see earlier this week, two teams that absolutely felt like they had a chance to win this state championship, and in a double elimination format, a chance to see what happens today in their second meeting here at this state tournament.
That's right. Second time in 2 days that they'll meet. Three teams still alive here at the state tournament with hopes, at least, for a state championship. Of course, we just saw the 8 seed Edgewood Colesburg.
How about it?
Punched their ticket to the championship game. Had to beat the 1 seed twice in this year's tournament. They beat IGHSAU EHK Audubon 2 times in 3 days to punch their ticket to the state championship game for the first time since 2002. Edgewood Colesburg has never won a softball state title. They just won a track state title this last spring, trying to make it 2 for 2 on girls state titles in the last 2 seasons. Incredible few months for Edco.
So what you're saying is potentially there is a correlation between track championships and softball championships.
Listen, you hear the coaches and the scouts talk about it all the time in terms of multi-sport athletes, wanting to see people do a lot of sports throughout the year, not just focus on one. Edco, a 1A school, they're full of girls like that. Now we've got Clarksville and Fort Dodge St. Edmunds. For all of the success that Fort Dodge St. Ed's has seen throughout the years on the softball time, and including this year, including in their home city of Fort Dodge at the State Diamond, they have never once played in state softball championship game, trying to get there for the first time in program history, but they're going to have to beat the team that just beat them yesterday in Clarksville, a team that won the state championship last year and with just 1 win could get back to the title game. Fort Dodge St. Ed's would have to beat Clarksville 2 times in a row if they want to continue their season and play tomorrow in the title game.
Yeah, we'll get to that bridge a little bit later on as we see this one unfold. Let's get you the lineups for this matchup. The 3 seed in the bracket, the St. Edmund Gales, it is an elimination game for them. They have to win this to fight on and face Clarksville potentially again later, as Owen mentioned. Here's what they'll send with head coach Bill Sherbrun. And it will be the freshman second baseman Ella Vandy to lead off. Sophia Schlins is in center, batting second. She's a junior. The senior third baseman is Faith Sherbrun, great player. She'll bat third. Cleanup hitter will be the pitcher in the circle, freshman Rihanna Myers. It is Jade Rock, the number 5 hitter in left field, a sophomore. The designated player is Brecken Ulrich. She is a freshman hitting for the first baseman, sophomore Torin Helly, who we saw pitch earlier this week. Greenlee Crimmins is the right fielder, a sophomore batting 7th. Myra Lemon is at short. She's a junior batting 8th. And an 8th grader, Baylor Ulrich, is behind the plate batting in the 9 spot. On the other side for Clarksville and head coach Katie Berman, they will have freshman catcher Kate Lodge leading off. 8th grade left fielder Reagan Wedeking will bat in the 2nd spot. She'll be followed by Hannah Wangsness, a senior shortstop in the 3-hole. Kara Bolin is the junior first baseman in the cleanup spot, followed by the pitcher, the senior Sydney Lovren. It's Brooke Bolin, a freshman center fielder in the 6th spot. Micah Hull's an 8th grader in right field. She bats 7th with the designated player Gia Hoodger right behind her. She's a freshman hitting for the second baseman, junior Capri Clark. The number 9 hitter is Eve Jordan, a sophomore playing in third base. As we get set for this, a lot on the line. Of course, as we learn about these teams coming into the state tournament, you really start to have a feeling of who is and isn't kind of geared and playing their best softball. Clarksville on Monday, if you recall, and what was an incredibly eventful day, a 15-inning game in which they were able to come back and win. But it wasn't just that they won that 15-inning game. It was how they won against North Butler, a local rival up there in northern Iowa. And this team was down to their last out in 4 different innings, 7th or later, and was able to come back and tie or come back and eventually win in walk-off fashion. And they have kept that momentum going up by defeating the number 3 seed St. Edmund yesterday.
Yeah, I feel like we've had this conversation about Clarksville so many times this week with the amount of experience that they bring here in the postseason, having played here, having won a state title last year in 2025, just the amount of stick-to-itiveness, the amount of grit and perseverance they have. Again, they were just down to their last out or their last strike. But, I mean, they grounded into what should have been the final out on at least 2 or 3 occasions and just kept laying out these runs that eventually turned into errors for their opponents from North Butler and just kept grinding out there. That speaks a lot to the grind and the grit that this Clarksville team has, not to mention the intelligence of their coach, Katie Berman. In her 12th year at the helm of the Indians, an overall record of 273 wins. I guess we've got a few more in the books now, so 275 wins and 76 losses in her 12 years at Clarksville.
Is that good?
That's a real nice effort, and she tells me that she doesn't ever plan on leaving. When I was talking to her the other day, she's just in her, I mean, I'm not just guessing based on her age and when she got the first grad,
there,
early to mid-30s, somewhere in there, but she was like, yeah, I'm going to die here. So she's happy just staying at her alma mater and sticking with them for as long as she can. She seems to really love that job, and from what we've seen so far on the Diamond, these players really love having her as their coach.
I'm in my 30s, and that's a crazy thing to say. But when you're having the success that she's having, you can absolutely see it. As we get set for first pitch, it will be St. Edmund in these awesome green and yellow uniforms. Ella Vandy will lead off to face Sydney Lovren. We'll get to her numbers here momentarily as we dig in for an elimination game for St. Edmund. If Clarksville wins, they are into the championship to take on Edgewood Colesburg. If it's St. Edmund, we will play these two teams later tonight. First pitch up and away. First pitch comes right on time, just a couple minutes late actually, 3:02 on the clock. Pitching numbers for Lovren, the senior, coming into the state tournament, a 1.92 ERA in 131 innings. This one well wide, 2-0. 134 strikeouts in those 131 innings of work with 51 walks. And I don't really know how she's still throwing.
Man.
I thought her arm was going to fall off at the end of those 15 innings because she threw every single one of them.
I know you were doing a great job counting the amount of pitches she threw. Was she around the 215, 220, 230 area?
Well, you know, it's interesting
pitches?
because, you know, I obviously was fumbling that a little bit as the game got crazier and crazier. I was somewhere in the 215, 220 ranges. Vandy hits this pitch out into center. It'll be tracked by Brooke Bolin for the out. And that is out number 1. So, mentioned Bolin in center. Reagan Wedeking is in left with Bolin in center. Micah Hall is in right with Eve Jordan at third. Hannah Wangsness at short. Capri Clark plays second with Kara Bolin at first. The freshman Kate Lodge is behind the plate for the right-handed senior pitcher Sydney Lovren. And Sophia Schlins digs in.
Yeah, and that just the amount of ability that Lovren has to continue that, having basically pitched 2+ games in a row in that first night, having won a game yesterday. I mean, she's got to be well over 300 pitches now at this point in the tournament after pitching at St. Ed's yesterday.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to just talk about how crazy that game was, it's 2-0 here to Schlins. So she basically pitched what was an equivalent of a doubleheader plus an inning, and there's a chance that maybe she has to pitch a doubleheader against this same team today. So, you know, we'll see how things go, but she is racking up a ridiculous amount of innings. But again, a new format that's going to, you know, you can't really compare it to the previous years and some of the workloads that we have seen.
And that's possibly one of the few notes. I mean, I don't even want to say complaints, but something that the coaches might bring up when discussing how much they like or dislike this new double elimination format is just the fact you have somebody like Sydney Lovren that even if a game goes into extra innings, you're going to throw up a lot of pitches. And you could be throwing – so she's already pitched 2. By the end of the week, you could be throwing 5 games in a matter of, 3, 4, 5 days.
And it used to be 3 max.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
Which, again, could be spread out over 3, 4 days. And so it's just a heavy, heavy workload to put on these pitchers to be going out there throwing – if you're Sydney Lovren, maybe 300 to 400 pitches over the course of a week.
I mean, I think it's at least going to be that much. Could be a lot more. First pitch on the way after the 5-pitch walk issued to Sophia Schlins and the ever-dangerous Faith Sherbrun at the plate, 1-0 to her. Sherbrun, a senior, batting only .624 coming into this tournament with 46 runs driven in, 18 doubles, 7 triples, 9 homers on the season. Truly one of the great hitters in all of softball in the entire state of Iowa, regardless of class. And here she bats with a runner on first base in Schlins, who can really book it around the base paths, like pretty much all of these Gales can.
Yeah, Faith Sherburne, one of the most dangerous hitters in the state of Iowa, certainly Class 1A. I was just doing some tallies for the regional tournament. In the regional tournament, which went 3 games, she went 9 for 10 overall at the plate. Only one at-bat that did not end in a hit for Faith Sherburne, who gets a walk here and is on base early. We've got 2 aboard for Fort Dodge St. Ed's.
Yeah, so sounds crazy, but so far 3 batters in, and Lovren has only thrown 3 strikes. 2 walks on a total of 9 pitches. And now with runners on first and second, Rihanna Myers looking to help herself out. A freshman is pitching in the circle, their team's season on the line, and a great chance for her here as she takes the strike 1 here. Home plate umpire is Tom Schreers. He has Greg Buster down the first base line, and the other base umpire is Mike Deerkoop.
Rihanna Myers was 2 for 3 in the first round game. Hit that, what we like to call a walk-off home run, if you want to call it a true walk-off home run, when they were playing Rims and St. Mary's in the first round. Hit the homer that ended up sealing the Mercy Rule shortened game in 6 innings for Fort Dodge St. Ed's. Dangerous bat there at the plate in the cleanup spot.
Yeah, 7 homers, 384 the average on the season. 31 runs driven in as she takes strike 2. And for the first time, Lovren is ahead in a count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lovren gets the sign and delivers. Check swing, that one's low. 2-2. And then a quick steal on the throwback to the pitcher by Schlins at second base. You see so many crazy base running plays here at the state tournament, and time is going to be called. And it looks like first base umpire, and saying that the the runner at first is out, and there's going to be a chat here. Greg Buster out there, the first base umpire, is ruling Sherbrun out at first base.
Are they saying she left early, possibly?
And there's that look-back rule again.
The look-back, wow.
Which
this week
I'm going to need a collision course, crash course on what that rule actually is, because the runner at third, because she went all the way to third base, that's a steal and it works. And that's legal. And for Sherbrun, she's out on the look-back. So that's an important second out as this one fouled out of play.
And basically, if we could try to run back through the look-back rule, the way that it kind of works is that once the ball gets back to the pitcher's glove in the circle, the runner on whatever base it is, first, second, third, they can't kind of take a lead off or can't step off the base because it's distracting to the pitcher.
But you can steal, apparently.
Right.
As this one is looped into left field right at Wedeking, and what looked like a promising first inning here for St. Edmund. That look-back rule, much like we saw in a game earlier this week, which happened to, kind of end a rally earlier for North Butler, ends up ending a rally here for St. Edmund. So 1.5 inning in the books. St. Edmund cannot score. Clarksville will have their first turn at the plate when we return live right here on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Yeah, it's a trip when you hit the road. And when you know when you've arrived. It's a trip when you get everything you want. The burger and the fries, the creek and the crick, the city and the countryside. It's a trip when you're where you're meant to be. In this moment, in this bathroom mirror, looking like $1 million. And yeah, it's a trip when it goes by fast. Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours.
You're watching the 2026 Girls State Softball Tournament presented by the Iowa Farm Bureau. As sole title sponsor of the Girls High School Athletic Union, Iowa Farm Bureau believes in the Iowa girl and cultivating individuals with great character, a strong work ethic, and exceptional leadership skills. By investing in Iowa's youth, we're investing in Iowa's future. Emery Songer, along with Owen Sebring, here at Farm Bureau Field. The Class 1A state tournament has been played here all week long to this point. And the other semifinal, who's going to face number 8 seed Edgewood Colesburg in the state championship game later this week? We're going to find out on this field here this afternoon. As the first pitch to the freshman catcher Kate Lodge is a foul dribbler to the right side, 0-1. Pitcher for St. Edmund, different arm than we saw earlier this week when we called St. Edmund's first round game against Remsen St. Mary's. We have Rihanna Myers, a freshman who appeared in just 5 games coming into this state tournament. This one is low and in the dirt, 1-1. Myers in those 5 appearances, 14 innings of work, a 5.5 ERA, 24 strikeouts, and 11 walks. A little bit curious to have her in the circle. We saw her playing shortstop earlier this week.
Very, very seldom we see that. We see now an
And
infield
speaking
single.
of shortstop, line drive on a couple of hops right at the current shortstop, Myra Lemon, who we didn't see play. And I think they're going to call that a hit.
Yep, pretty hard hit ball there to short.
Yeah, so give Kate Lodge a single, but it's interesting, if there's not a guy I'm going to question less in Class 1A softball than Bill Sherbrun, but at the same time, right, it'll be interesting to see what the game plan is and if he expects Myers to try to go the distance.
There's just very few times that we would see something like that, a change-up in pitcher between one game to the next. Obviously, we saw it the other day with North Butler when they had that 15-inning game that went so long.
Here is a bunt put down nicely by Reagan Wedeking, the 8th grader. Quick throw behind the runner at second, and it'll be a sacrifice bunt. 5-3 in the putout. Lodge running for herself out there at second base. And now Hannah Wangsness, a senior, will bat. Wangsness, .494, the average coming into this tournament. 15 doubles, a triple, 2 home runs. It's not a huge home run hitting team in Clarksville, but 15 doubles is a number that will really stick out to you. And the fact that she has that team high 37 runs driven in.
One thing to remember with the new double elimination format is that if Fort Dodge St. Ed's wins this game today, then they will have had to play 3 games today, okay, because they had to beat Rims and St. Mary's earlier to keep their tournament alive.
Now the second time they've saw them, too.
Exactly, and so now if they win this one, would have to play Clarksville again later this evening.
This one hit high in the air. Backing up on it is Jade Rock. She reaches up, pulls it in with 2 hands. Nice catch as she kept drifting backwards. The tag and advancement there by Lodge. Good base running. Good play all around by everybody, and 2 away here with the runner at third base for Kara Bolin. That ball just kept drifting back, and Rock did a good job just sticking with it.
Yeah, just those balls we've seen this week can be kind of hard to track down for an outfielder, especially when it's high in the air during the daytime when the sun might be getting in their eyes. It's a nice play by her to reach back and just corral a nice one to preserve that second out. Otherwise, that probably would have resulted in a run scored for Clarksville.
Oh, for sure. And that's the other thing, too. There's that taller wall out there in left field. So, it's a pretty tall wall all the way around, I'm not going to lie, as it's 1-0 here. But that little, this is, one of the mini majors. They built a miniature green monster out there in left field. So where Rock is playing, she probably knew there was no chance that was going to get over the wall. So she was able to track it really nicely and seal the second out as it's 2-0 here to Kara Bolin, the cleanup hitter. Kara on the season, .403 the average, 5 doubles, 2 homers with 26 runs driven in, and a very important first run of the game potentially there at third base.
Kara Bolin went 1 for 3 with a double and an RBI against Fort Dodge St. Edmund the other day, too.
This one gets away, but it takes another friendly hop for the defense, so no advancement attempted by Lodge. This is the second time we've seen that. Because this backstop is so close to home plate, there's a chance on any pitch for you to get a pretty favorable hop off of that backstop, which is a new backstop, by the way. It's a really nice backstop, but it bounces very true, kind of right back to where home plate is.
Yeah, and it's a smart play heads up there to just stay where she was at third.
4-pitch walk to Bolin.
Yeah, a runner on third base like that just has to be so aware of what's happening, has to see immediately where the ball is bouncing, be listening to her coach. The coach has to be aware of where the ball is. That's a tough play in softball. In baseball, it's almost automatic that ball is going to be far enough to the backstop that you can run in and score.
Yeah, you're not going to see a backstop in baseball this close, for sure.
That one took a weird enough ricochet, landed kind of on the line, on the third base line, and so she could have just about tagged her 10 feet away from the plate.
Sydney Lovering going to try to help herself out here as she kind of checks her swing, and there will be no appeal. 1-0 the count to her. Lovering. She digs in here. A .333 hitter this year. Runner goes down to second. The throw is going to come, but not snagged by the shortstop Lemon. Looks like they would have had her because Bolin almost is like, you kind of take it for granted. She wants to draw the throw, and so many times you just don't see anybody make the throw all the way down. This time, the catcher, Baylor Ulrich, did throw it all the way down, and they would have had her if Lemon would have been able to secure the ball.
And I'm really surprised we didn't see the runner from third try to get home. If she got a little bit more of a leadoff, once she threw it, go ahead and go home, and there's a run. I
think the throw surprised everybody.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, they threw it down to second base. Runners on second and third now, and it's going to go to the backstop. But again, right off the net this time, not even the backstop, but it bounces right back to the catcher, Ulrich, and she is like 6 feet away from home plate. So, but in a race with anybody from 60 feet versus 6 feet, I'm going to go ahead and bet on the person that only has 6 feet to go. Another 3-0 count here, this time to Lovren with first base open and Brooke Bolin the on-deck hitter for Rihanna Myers. There's a strike. And this is interesting, right? Because this is a pitcher we have to remind ourselves in Rihanna Myers, who has not pitched that much this season. There's going to be a quick chat with first baseman Helly, who also has gotten the most work in the circle for anybody, but again had to face Clarksville yesterday, and I think they just want to give it a different look here.
Coming into the state tournament, only 14 innings pitched for Rihanna Myers.
The 3-1. This one's going to come in low. I get the idea if this Clarksville team got to see Helly enough yesterday, just giving them something different to look at, especially with the idea that you might have to throw it might have to throw her a third time later on if they pitched, but you got to win this one to get to that third game.
And it might be a short leash as we see the courtesy runner coming in here for Clarksville, number 7, Emerson Miller.
Not to be confused with the Emerson Miller that was playing for
North
Butler
the other night,
spelled the exact same way.
And the same exact age, both 8th graders.
What are the odds? And 15 miles between the two of them.
It's a copycat league. I wouldn't be surprised if Myers does have a short leash today, if things get away from her early, to see her taken out early.
First pitch, ground ball up the middle. Here's Lemon. She can't field it cleanly and won't have a play. This is an indirect thing with Myers pitching as well. That's your regular shortstop that's now in the circle, and now Lemon has to come in and play shortstop, and that's a second ball hit to her. And then a third play, that the play at second where they could have had the caught stealing that she couldn't quite squeeze either. So
right, that's true. And it looked like a ball that just landed right in her glove, and she could have either flipped it to second. One of those things we've seen a few times this week where there's a couple plays that might be an option in the fielder's head, and maybe she's a little indecisive and thinking about that versus thinking about just gloving the ball.
Yeah, that is true.
There's
a lot happening around you when the bases are loaded like that.
Certainly seems like there would have been plenty of time for her to make the throw to first if she would have fielded cleanly, just picked it up and thrown it.
Or you're seeing in that periphery that second, maybe I could go to second instead. It's interesting. It's a tough position to be in. It's Micah Hall. And the plate, 8th grader fits this one out of play to the left side. 1-1 to the 8th grader, plays right field, Micah Hall. We talk about this, a lot of 8th graders making big contributions to their teams. 217 is her average. She does have 1 double on the season coming in with 4 runs driven in. And if we go all the way back to our game that we did that was the 15-inning game, she played a pretty pivotal role at the plate with a couple of hits, including an infield single in what ended up being the decisive game-winning 15th inning. As she waits on this changeup, pops it up, who's going to be? Sherbrun at third, makes the catch to eliminate the inning and keep the damage to just 1 run. But an interesting and adventurous bottom half of this first inning as Clarksville has a 1-0 lead. We'll have more on the way on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
If you grill it, he will come.
Hey.
Is this heaven?
Nope. It's fairway.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
1-run scores for Clarksville in the first. They go back out defensively against Fort Dodge St. Edmund to face Jade Rock, Brecken Ulrich, and Greenlee Crimmins. And Sydney Lovren and the bionic arm going out here and attempting to, good off speed, 1-1. Attempting to hold this lead after a very adventurous and quite interesting first inning for Fort Dodge St. Edmund in the field. And for the young pitcher, Rihanna Myers. This is lifted by Rock out in the center. Bolin barely has to move and is able to make the catch.
One of those important things we like to talk about in high school sports, high school softball in particular, where getting that early lead can start to set the tempo a little bit, start to at least give you a little bit of an advantage in terms of the mental space where you kind of want to take the advantage over your opponent. Getting that early lead is crucial in a game like this.
358 was the average for Jade Rock coming into the state tournament as she flies out there. It's the first pitch to Brecken Ulrich is a ball. The freshman designated player hitting for the sophomore first baseman, Torin Helly, who is the usual pitcher for this Fort Dodge St. Edmund squad, even though she is still in the game, not hitting for herself, but you would imagine she would be available to come and throw if necessary at some point, but Ulrich will be batting for her in the order. There's the strike here, 2-0, or 2-1 rather, to Ulrich.
Every run so important for Clarksville so far this week, too. Both their games have been decided by just one run. They had a 5-4 win over St. Ed's and then the 12-11 win over North Butler. Both coming late. Of course, it was a walk-off against North Butler yesterday between Clarksville and St. Ed's. They had to score 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning to secure that win.
3-1. This one's going to be lifted out to Bolin in center. She has to backtrack on it. She looks up, and it's over her head off the wall. Sliding into second safely is Brecken Ulrich with the double. Ulrich came in at 276 average, 7 doubles in the season coming into the state tournament. And she finds herself at second with 1 away. That's the first hit of the ball game off Lovren for the Gales. And now it brings up sophomore right fielder Greenlee Crimmins, who comes in to the state tournament, 259 her average. Did have 1 double, 3 runs driven in this season. Infield comes in. They are expecting a bunt, it appears. She's just choking up and instead will take a strike, 0-1. Haven't seen a lot of slap hitters. You know, Crimmins kind of fits that mold with the choking up, kind of taking steps, running through the box. Haven't really seen too much of that in this 1A bracket. It's the 0-1. That one comes in just a touch high.
Yeah, and I'm not sure sometimes if I feel like 20 years ago, we just saw slap hitters everywhere. Every team had a slap hitter.
And they're almost impossible to get out because they're all fast.
And so I don't know if that's gone out of fashion a little bit, if they've adjusted defenses well
analytics,
enough.
The analytic guys have come in and eliminated the slap hitters.
It could be the case because this week, as you mentioned, I just don't see them very much. And even in all my years covering the state tournament, the last 10 years or so working in television, just don't see it very much.
There is the little swinging bunt. It is picked up, fair ball, and because she picked it up, threw down to first, she's safe. There's a chance, I think, if she just lets that go. Kate Lodge could have let that roll foul, but there is the speed we're talking about. Crimmins with the infield hit, and it went maybe 5 feet into fair territory. And Lodge picks it up. She is a rare left-handed catcher, so that is a bit of an easier throw for her. Maybe she felt like she had a chance to get her. But it advances Ulrich from second to third, and Crimmins with great speed on at first, and you know she's likely to take second very soon here. And there she goes. Nobody's even covering, so she'll just jog in.
Yep. Yeah, and Crimmins, we don't even get to see bat very often. Before we got to the state tournament, she'd only had 31 ABs this year, just 8 hits coming into the state tournament. So by hook or by crook, got to find one here and there, and she does it by bunting that AB.
That one's high. It's 1-1. Myra Lemon is the batter. Myra is a junior. Coming in, 284 her average. She did play quite regularly during the season, had 12 doubles, a triple, and a home run, but we did not see her in the first game that we covered. She swings through that one, 1-2. But that's the depth of a school like this, and St. Edmund, who's able to send a lot of quality players and put them at different positions in the field. Swing and a miss. Lovren gets a clutch strikeout of Lemon for the second out. That's strikeout number 1 for her, and it seems like the control issues that she was kind of battling through in that first inning, she comes back out here and it's just like, I just needed to settle in a little bit.
Hopefully that one is the one that settles her confidence. Yesterday in their win against Fort Dodge St. Ed's, Lovren had 6 strikeouts. Gets her first one of the day at a crucial juncture in the second.
Fouled back. It is 0-1. Yeah, it's interesting because these two teams saw each other yesterday, and the fact that St. Edmund had to play earlier today against Remsen St. Mary's. That's why Helly isn't pitching. It's a combination of those two things, but it's interesting, Lovren going back-to-back days against this exact same team. As this one, ground ball gets past the third baseman, Jordan, in fair territory. One will score. Here comes Crimmins. She's in with a double, 2 RBIs. The number 9 hitter, Baylor Ulrich, the 8th grader, and a huge clutch hit for her early in this game.
Wow. Incredibly clutch moment coming out of the 9th spot, the 8th grader. Incredible moment there for her, being able to give her team an early lead, and you see that speed on the base paths, and Coach Sherburne going to do anything but hold his runner at third base, obviously waving him home.
I didn't say any stats for her because she didn't have any. She didn't take an at-bat during the season until we got up here to state.
Wow.
What? That is crazy.
Are we sure about that?
No, I am not.
Okay. As I look through GoBound here, I do see some stats for Baylor Ulrich.
Yeah, so my book that we were provided has 0 stats for her. She was in the lineup, but she was being hit for in the first game.
Yeah.
Here at State, as it's 2-1, and a late run over to third, and it gets away. Ulrich's going to take off for home and will score. Defense again. And now a throw's going to come home. I don't think she hit the bag, and Bill Sherburne in the third base coach's box yells at Ulrich. It did kind of look like she stepped over the plate. I'm not sure she got it. The home plate umpire sitting there, Tom Schreers, did not make a safe call immediately, but there was no throw. And then Bill Sherburne calls her back to tell her to step on home. There's a line drive in her right. Ella Vandy with a single to keep the inning alive. Wow, this is madness happening here on Farm Bureau Field like it has all week. So this is the second time a runner on second takes off as the ball's on its way back to the circle, and the look-back rule doesn't apply if she goes all the way to third. And then the throw they may have had her, but the throw to third base was wide, and then she comes home and scores the third run of the inning.
And I wonder if we're starting to see the look-back rule called a little bit more this week, because maybe this is a trendy thing that a lot of teams are trying. As the ball's going back from the catcher to the pitcher, a lot of base runners are trying to catch them off guard. That's not something we've seen a lot in high school softball in the past, at least I haven't, where they're going to try a steal in that situation.
Here's a steal by Vandy, and what a tag by Wangsness on a great throw from Kate Lodge to get him out of the inning. So Schlins will have to bat in the third as Vandy is cut down on a great throw, 2-6 in the book. But what an inning there for the Gales. They put up 3 in the top of the second. They lead it 3-1 over Clarksville here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Whether you volunteer or hang with friends, play pickleball, read or follow trends. No matter what your retirement style, you deserve healthy eyes and a healthy smile. Some Medicare plans don't cover vision or dental. With Delta Dental, you can save on what's essential. Get coverage and take care of your health. It's peace of mind, so treat yourself. It's more affordable than you might think. Give us a call or visit this link.
All right, back here in 8-9-1 due up here for Clarksville. Bottom of the second as they trail now Fort Dodge St. Edmund. A 3-1 scoreline. 3 score in the top of the second on 4 hits and an error. As Hoodger on the first pitch ropes one the other way to left field. Gia Hoodger, the freshman designated player. And she came into the state tournament a .333 average. Just a great hitting team.
And she's had a nice tournament so far against Fort Dodge St. Ed's when they played yesterday. Hoodger went 2 for 3 with a double in the second round there.
Yeah, as Eve Jordan digs in after this first pitch. I want you to help correct what I said about the Baylor Ulrich at bat. Is that one absolutely tattooed by the 9-hitter Eve Jordan, but too quick for strike one?
Well, every now and then we will find a discrepancy. As much as we love the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, every now and then some stats might not come through as they should. But yeah, in the scorebook, the stat book that they give out to fans, the program here, they have Baylor Ulrich with no stats at all, 0 games played, 0 hits,
yep,
etc. But if you go to GoBound, the site that's pretty reliable because the coaches are the ones putting in the stats, so you see 32 games played, 41 at-bats, 21 hits, 122 average, etc., 3 RBI. So not a ton of stats.
This one popped out deep into center, backing up on it and pulling it in as Schlins. How about that power from Eve Jordan?
Well,
A foul ball and then a fly out to center that nearly carried out of here.
Let me tell you about Eve Jordan, who is batting in the 9th spot, just a sophomore, but still one of the most consistently good batters on this team. She comes into this game on a 14-game hit streak, longer than any other player on this Clarksville roster, even at the 9-hole. That's what you love to see out of somebody in the bottom of the lineup, somebody that can still consistently get on base.
Kate Lodge, the number 1 hitter, will bat with a runner on first in Hoosier and 1 out. This one low and away, 1-0. Let's talk about just what that does for Rihanna Myers in the circle to get those 3 runs across. 4 hits, so no cheapies, and then the throwing error on an attempt to try to catch Baylor Ulrich stealing at third allows her to come in and score. So a chance to settle Myers down, but a wild pitch as I say that, and Hoosier will take second.
Yeah, and you wonder again how long Coach Bill Sherbrun will let her pitch today. If Clarksville puts up a couple runs here, gets a few more hits, do they again take her out and put Helly back in?
Well, you're seeing Helly go out and talk to her a lot. It's interesting. It's kind of like she's an on-field coach for her almost, and I can only imagine they're talking about pitching and like just settling her down out there. This one fouled back, 2-1. You really don't see that too much, but she's basically almost every single pitch kind of going over there and saying something to her.
Yeah. And she's not even, she's obviously got the experience as a pitcher, but not like she's an upperclassman or something. Torrin Helly, just a sophomore, but has seen enough innings that she knows what she's doing, knows how to coach up her teammate.
And then pitch as this one rolls all the way to the backstop, but again, a perfect roll right back to the catcher, so no advancement from Hoosier, and it's 3-1. But it is interesting. She did pitch against this team and then had a pitch earlier today against Remsen St. Mary's. So, and there's a chance they play a third game, as you've alluded to. If they defeat Clarksville here, we'll have a little bit of a break, and then these two teams will play again, and that could be the third St. Edmund game of the day. As that one just misses for ball 4. So a 5-pitch walk to Lodge, and it puts runners on first and second with 1 out. And the big bats are coming here with Reagan Wedeking, who laid down a successful sacrifice bunt to third in the first inning. That's already the 3rd walk issued by Myers.
And Wedeking's been nice in the state tournament. 1 for 1 with a double against Fort Dodge St. Ed's yesterday. 2 for 7 in the first round. A couple of RBI against North Butler. Consistently playing well at the plate. She could come up here with a big clutch hit if she can connect with one.
Here's the pitch. Catches the outside corner for strike 1. Another 8th grader. Man, they have a lot of freshmen and 8th grader that make big differences. One of them's at second in Hoosier. Another one is Lodge at first.
Yeah, I was going through the lineup. 6 regular starters are freshmen or 8th graders on this Clarksville team.
They won a state title last year.
Unbelievable
and that's how
stuff.
young their team comes back the year after. As there's a swing and a miss from Wedeking, and it's 0-2.
And even though North Butler's been eliminated, we'll go back and forth to that rivalry performance because North Butler also with a ton of young girls, and that seems like it's going to be a budding rivalry. Both teams that'll probably have some state tournament appearances in the next few years here.
The 0-2. Strike 3 of the knees. First strikeout by Myers, and it's a big one for the second out of the inning. And with 2 outs, now here is the bat of this order, Hannah Wangsness, the senior shortstop, who flew out to left first time. Jade Rock had a drift all the way back near the wall to squeeze that one, and look how deep she's playing her out in front of that green wall.
Yeah, Wangsness with a couple of hits the other night against North Butler, had a double, a single.
Low and inside, 1-0, and Baylor Ulrich, again, 8th grader, back behind the plate. Got the hit, scored a run earlier in this inning, but now she's trying to keep everything in front of her to not allow these 2 runners to advance with the big RBI bat at the plate. The 1-0.
And
That just misses.
And what you mentioned is one of the biggest maybe question marks or issues when you have a less experienced pitcher, as we see another meeting between Helly and Meyer, who's coming out to help her out a little bit. But the wild pitches, the pass balls can be a bit of a question mark. You're just not quite as used to her strike zone as much as you are with Helly.
This one low. Good job keeping it in front of her now. And at 3-0, you have to wonder, Kara Bolin can also hit really, really strongly, and she's in the on-deck circle, but you just don't want to serve up a meatball here to Wangsness. She's an absolute doubles machine. 3-0 to her here. And she takes outside for ball 4.
So that's the second straight inning that we've seen Clarksville load up the bases, and that might start to make Bill Sherburne question things a little bit with Rihanna Myers in the circle. Another meeting between Helly, Myers, and the catcher Ulrich.
I mean, she really is an on-field coach at this point. And they're talking over what they may do here. And you would imagine that the infield, you have a really experienced third baseman in Sherburne who's going to know everything that needs to happen. And then Lemon at shortstop trying to kind of settle into this game as well defensively. See if they can't come out here and try to find that third out. But an opportunity here for Clarksville to strike right back after giving up 3 runs in the top of this second inning. Kara Bolin walked first time up and now faces Myers with the bases loaded. 2 outs. First pitch is there for a strike. 0-1. I think a good strategy. Show me one. She's walked 2 of the last 3 hitters she's seen.
Yeah, exactly. I think that Clarksville is kind of trying to play that game too. 2 walks, and they looked at that strikeout. That was a backwards K on that one.
Yeah. Oh, a little half swing. Stays fair. What a break for the Gales. A check swing that stays in play from Kara Bolin, and 3 unassisted. Helly picks it up and steps on the bag, and they leave them loaded again, this time with nothing across. And we're through 2. It is 3-1 with St. Edmund leading the 2-seed Clarksville. We'll have more on the way on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Freedom Tire is proud to support the Iowa Girl through their sponsorship of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. With 6 locations around the metro, you're never far from getting you back or keeping you on the road. Our certified staff and state-of-the-art technology means you can take comfort knowing you've got the best work at the best prices. Give us a try at Freedom Tire, a proud supporter of the IGHSAU.
St. Edmund bats with a 3-1 lead here, top of the 3rd inning, and the first pitch inside to Sophia Schlins. She walked first time up and then was in the middle of an at-bat when Ella Vandy was caught stealing second to end last inning. So it'll be her followed by Faith Sherbrun and the pitcher Rihanna Myers, who expertly got out of that jam last inning, playing with fire. She's left 6 on base the first 2 innings, which is Clarksville threatening, but it has only scored 1 run in the first 2 innings. As the 2-0, inside and low, 3-0.
I was able to just pull up the stats from Fort Dodge St. Ed's earlier game, so we are actually on the 3rd different pitcher we've seen out of them today. Tor and Helly pitched a little bit of the first one, as did Breck and Ulrich, and now we've got Myers out there. So they're employing their full complement of pitchers, just trying to make sure that if they have to play 3 games on this one day, they're going to use everybody they can, try to get through it.
Yeah, we'll see. It's this one on a 3-1, lined out in the center. Almost got over Bolin's head, but she still had a good read on it. She's played really well out there in center field. We've seen her get a ton of action this week. It's always nice when your center fielder can cover a lot of ground and you don't have to worry about too many misplays out there, because look how much space she is being asked to cover, the way that they are lined up defensively. Right and left field are a couple of steps toward the lines on both areas because Bolin just has such range out there in center. As it's 1-0 here to Faith Sherbrun, who had a 4-pitch walk. She has not seen a strike yet in this game. This one low and in.
You got to say something about Sydney Lovren and her performance against Faith Sherbrun, who's one of the best overall players in the state of Iowa. 0 for 3 against Clarksville in the second round yesterday.
Popped up this time. Backing up on it is Clark at second, and then she can't squeeze it. It'll go in. It's technically a hit. No contact, so it drops in for a hit. But it looked like Capri Clark, the second baseman, it was her ball. We talked about Bolin in center and her range. She almost was right behind her by the time the ball dropped, but still that was an insanely long run for her, and she was going to let Clark try to catch that, and then it just landed just over the top of her head. Quick throw down as Sherburne tries to steal second and is able to keep the hand on the bag for a successful steal, but every out matters, and we've seen that in this Class 1A bracket as Brianna Myers, another chance to maybe drive in a run with a good base runner, and Sherburne out there at second base.
As we've mentioned, Fort Dodge St. Ed is one of the most dangerous base stealing teams in the state of Iowa.
Every single part of the lineup is trying to steal bases.
So far this year, they're getting around 250 stolen bases as a team. That is more than any other team in the entire state of Iowa across all classes, about 30 more than any other team in the state of Iowa. And that was coming into state. That's not even accounting for other stats in the last 3 games.
This one inside. Sherburne's going to take for third, and she's in there safely. Lodge, the left-handed catcher, we can't say that enough. With the right-handed batter kind of had to look around Myers and then try to throw down there, but it was not in time. So another steal for Faith Sherburne and a 3-0 count here to Myers. And that's going to be ruled ball 4. Myers a little confused, I think, there that was.
She thought that she might have offered at that one.
She takes on first base, third walk issued, and now Jade Rock. Jade Rock.
She had a nice performance the other day against Clarksville. 2 for 4, 2 RBI in the second round yesterday, and a chance for a couple more in this one.
She shows bunt, pulls back, and she takes a strike. Myers will run down with nobody covering second.
So we've talked about their stolen base prowess. We've already seen 6 stolen bases in the first 2 1/3 innings right now for the Gales.
And I'm sure there's going to be more where that came from. 2 runners in scoring position now for Rock with 1 out here in the third. She shows bunt again. She lays it down. And they're just going to let her have first because they don't want to throw it down there and then Sherburne have an easy chance to try to run home. You could try to turn 2 there by throwing it down to first, and then immediately Kara Bolin would have to return the throw, but it has to be 2 accurate throws, and you have to get the tag down, and Kate Lodge behind the plate
and
thinks better of it.
Faith Sherburne has such speed. It's like that's just a hard play to pull off and execute for players at any level, much less here in Class 1A.
And what are you going to do, right? I mean, it's just you would prefer at this stage to prevent the run from scoring instead of taking the out. Yeah. If you had a 5-run lead, that might be a different conversation.
Yeah, that's a smart call by Bill Sherburne, too, because he probably knew that they weren't going to even try to get the out at first.
A little off speed here, 0-1 to Brecken Ulrich, who doubled and scored first time up. This freshman takes a strike. She showed bunt and pulled back. The infield is in. If anything's hit to them, they're going to come home for that first out. That would be the second out of the inning. The swing and a miss there, and a very important 0-2. As Lovren, a lot of the time so far in this game, she has been pitching behind in the count. Here's the 0-2 on the way. And that just misses. Good try from Lovren in the circle, and it's 1-2. Rock is at first, Myers at second, Sherburne the runner at third with just the 1 out. The delivery fouled back, 1-2. This is a big moment for St. Edmonds. With this Clarksville lineup, you do not feel like there's any such thing as a comfortable lead. You have a chance with runners on in scoring position. You'd love to try to score them. That just misses on the inside corner.
Yep, and this is, I think, maybe part of the tactics of St. Ed's coach, Bill Sherburne, is with putting in a younger, less experienced pitcher, just saying, let's rely on the offense. Let's see if we can put somebody out there who might put some runners on, but see if
that's low, 3-2, nowhere to put her.
Lovren has painted the zone, hit it high, hit it low, hit it on the inside, just barely missing each time, and now we have a full count. An important at bat. Don't want to issue a walk here and give him a free one.
The pitch inside. She was up in the count 0-2 and ends up losing her. RBI walk. Fourth walk issued so far by Lovren, and you just have to wonder about the workload so far in the last 3 days, how many pitches she's had to throw. The 15-inning game that she pitched all of, the game yesterday against this same offense, and now they're getting a second crack at her. And they're making some things happen offensively, and there's still one out, and there's ball one to Greenlee Crimmins, who had an infield hit, a stolen base, and a run scored last inning.
And there's not a whole lot of relief outside of Lovren there. Brooke Bolins pitched some innings here with a 2.88 ERA, but only 24 innings.
That time she does get the outside corner. 1-1. The pitch. And she just kind of puts the bat through there. We talked about she's kind of a hybrid slap hitter. And that speed is what allowed her to get on when she hit a little dribbler to the right side that Kate Lodge picked up before it rolled foul and tried to throw out at first and was unable to get her in time. But now a 1-2 count to her. Lovren fires. We'll do it again.
Yeah, I've seen players in the past that a coach will almost convert to being a left-handed hitter just for the sake of their speed. They want to be a slap hitter, so it doesn't have to be a perfect swing every time to be a slap hitter. All you need to do is just kind of poke it out there and get the bat on the ball.
Yeah, put it on the left side of the infield and run. There she does, the exact same thing. The throw home from Wangsness is a good one. They're going to throw to third base, and it's not in time.
It was close.
Huh. Yeah, that was close. Looked like that throw was going to be in time from Lodge, but the third base umpire, Mike Deercoop, called her safe at third, so just the one out. That was almost an inning-ending double play. It's a good job by Lodge and a great job by Wangsness coming up with the throw quickly here. And it looks like we're going to have a substitution here as a pinch hitter for Myra Lemons.
Okay, I wondered about Coach Bill Sherburne having a discussion with the umpire, and that must have been it, just letting him know who he was going to have as a substitution in there. But that's just a good operation overall by Clarksville, knowing again where the out is supposed to be. With the bases loaded, just go ahead and come on home with it and try to save yourself at least one run.
8th grader Grace Crimmins is the pinch hitter here for Myra Lemon. So another Crimmins in the order. First pitch to her is 1-0. Grace, in my statistic book, 2 for 6 on the season at the plate in her 8th grade year. She's got the bases loaded. Big moment for her here in the top of the third with her team leading 4-1. There's a strike to her, 1-1. So on the ground out, Crimmins, it goes 6-2 for the out. 2 away. And there's another strike. Lovren just kind of battling. I mean, we talk about workload. We talk about the workload she still may have, depending on what happens in this game and then later on this week. Just trying to fight through this inning and try to leave them loaded. The 1-2. Fouled back.
There might not be a player on either of these teams who could use a day off more than her if Sydney Lovren and the Clarksville Indians make it to the championship game. They would love to have that open Thursday to rest and recoup and get some ice on that arm.
1-2 again. Here to Crimmins. Inside. Good job by Lodge squeezing that. It is 2-2. Myra Lemon batted in the second and went down on strikes. She can still re-enter defensively. There is one re-entry for everyone. As that's fouled back. These are good swings. It took a couple of pitches maybe to try to get Grace Crimmins kind of used to being there and seeing Lovren, but the last couple of foul balls, those are pretty good hacks.
Yeah, especially for somebody who, again, only has 6 at-bats on the season coming into the game, only 2 hits all year.
The 2-2, and that's inside and low. And again, there's nowhere to put her.
And sometimes you just put somebody in there where she doesn't have to get a hit. She can pick up an RBI with a walk here as long as she's patient at the plate.
A lot of noise being made by the St. Edmund fans. They know what's at stake here, the payoff. Fouled off again. How about 9 pitches in the at-bat to the 8th grader, Grace Crimmins, off the bench, with the bases loaded, no less, against a very good pitcher from Clarksville. The 3-2. Ground ball over to the right side, fielded cleanly by Clark. This time she goes to first in time, a big out there. 1 scores, but they leave them loaded, and after 2.5, it is St. Edmund 4, Clarksville 1, here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people. who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Back here, Emery Songer and Owen Sebring with you at Farm Bureau Field in Fort Dodge, the Harlan Rogers Sports Complex, Class 1A semifinal in state softball. Seeing the 3-seed St. Edmund leading 2-seed Clarksville 4-1 as we head to the bottom of the third. Quick note here, Owen, by my pitch count, which again is unofficial, we've seen some walks, we've seen some control issues for Sydney Lovren, who's about to take an at-bat here. Through 3 innings, 78 pitches thrown.
Wow.
40 of them have missed the strike zone.
Wow.
Only 38 strikes so far. She's really had to battle and did a good job of getting out of that frame. But again, she's not really getting hit that hard. There were 4 hits in the second inning, but there was only 1 hit, which was actually a blooper that just was not caught on a pop-out in that last inning.
Yeoman's performance by Lovren. That would be an interesting battle if they face Edco in the championship round between her and Eggleseder.
Rachel Eggleseder, a 3-hit shutout to beat a number 1 seed IGHSAU again earlier today. So there is no 5 o'clock game or 5:15 game here on this field. There would still be the nightcap if the Gales can hold this lead and force an elimination game between these two for the other spot in the championship game against Edgewood Colesburg. It's 3-0 now to Lovren, who also walked first time up in the first.
Myers has got to find that control a little bit. She's walked the bases full, or not walked the bases full, but loaded the bases in the last 2 innings, and just can't have that kind of threat every time and expect to get out of it in every situation.
Yeah, first 2 innings, she has left them loaded both times. 3-0 to Lovren. There's a strike. 3-1. And you see Torrin Helly, the most experienced pitcher that St. Edmund has. She's playing first base. You see her walk over. She's number 4, talking in the circle to Myers and giving her plenty of encouragement. 3-1 the count. This one well high, and Lovren draws another walk. That is the 5th walk issued by Myers. And you've mentioned it, you wonder, she's done a great job just so far, only allowing the 1 run. But you're just not 100% sure, right? Like how far they're going to let her take this. Is Emerson Miller is back for the courtesy runner. All substitutions, as always, brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at imtins.com. So Miller, the runner, over at first. No one out for Brooke Boland, who reached on an error in the first inning. She swings at the first pitch and flips it foul out of play right side. 0-1.
Brooke Boland had 3 hits the other day against North Butler. Coming into the state tournament, only struck out 3 times in 96 at-bats. Just the kind of intelligence you want from somebody in the middle of your order.
Here's the 0-1 to her. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. She's just a freshman, too, when we talk about how good she is in center. That is that's a huge tool to have for a batter like this to also be one of your best defenders.
Heavy workload the other night. I think we counted something like 12 putouts in center field in that North Butler game.
The 0-2. She waits on this changeup. Sherbrun fields it. She's going to second for 1. She won't have a return throw as Vandy thinks better of sending it to first base. It'll fielder's choice for Boland. There's Sherbrun showing off her defensive prowess. 5-4 for out number 1.
And we haven't mentioned this yet, but this is a second straight year that Clarksville and Fort Dodge St. Edmunds have met in the de facto semifinals, if you want to call this round the semifinals.
It is a semifinal. Yeah.
Last year, Clarksville won that game 11-3 to reach the championship round, and now it's the 3rd time they've played each other in the last 2 years at the state tournament.
Yeah, after yesterday's matchup, and there's a chance they could play a third time against each other. If Fort Dodge wins this one, they'll have a rubber match, if you will, later tonight, as it's 1-0 here to Micah Hall, the 8th grade right fielder who popped out to Sherbrun at third base, first time up in the first inning. This one hits the top of the mitt of Ulrich behind the plate, but doesn't get away, so Bolin can't take second, and it's 1-1. Bolin, a good runner as well, so you'd imagine at some point it wouldn't be a shocking development to see her get in motion, although Clarksville not nearly the aggressive base running team that we see on the other side with Fort Dodge St. Edmund.
Yeah, they've made their money on just being smart at the plate and capitalizing when they need to.
3-0.
Clarksville has actually been struck out the fewest times in the state of Iowa among all classes. Only 72 times they've struck out this season. That's what you get with a smart coach who knows how to coach up her girls. They're smart at the plate and just know how to find contact, if nothing else.
3-0 in there for a strike. 3-1 the count. One out, runner on at first base. Clarksville trailing 4-1. They've come back from bigger deficits in this tournament. And they came back to win the game against St. Edmund yesterday, late. As there's a swing and a miss by Hall, and it goes full 3-2.
Yeah, they've had to come back in both of their tournament wins so far. They were down 1-0 to St. Ed's yesterday, going into the bottom of the third inning, able to come back and take a lead. Then they had to come back again in the bottom of the sixth.
Payoff. Ground ball. This is going to be the shortstop, knocked down by Lemon. She's up with it. The throw's not going to be in time. Little bobble out there by Lemon at shortstop. And
you're thinking E6 on that one?
I think
if she fielded cleanly,
yeah, if she fields it cleanly, she's out. And she bobbled it. I mean, I'm not the official scorer, but it's going E6 in my book there. And runners on first and second here in a meeting with Bill Sherbrun and his infield and battery. We talked about Myers and how long she would go here. She's walked 5 in 2 1/3 innings of work. You kind of rely on your defense too to try to help out. And it looks like a change is going to be made of some kind. And it looks like they're changing the glove of Torrin Helly.
So that's Brecken Ulrich that we just saw come onto the diamond.
Yeah, they have one too many people out there on the infield right now.
Somebody's coming out.
Well, Myra Lemon now is running into the outfield. And it looks like the right fielder, Greenlee Crimmins. Okay, so this is going to be a tough one. And we're going to try to figure out all of the changes. But I think I have an idea of where we're going, and we'll let you know about it when we return after this on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Freedom Tire is proud to support the Iowa Girl through their sponsorship of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. With 6 locations around the metro, you're never far from getting you back or keeping you on the road. Our certified staff and state-of-the-art technology means you can take comfort knowing you've got the best work at the best prices. Give us a try at Freedom Tire, a proud supporter of the IGHSAU.
All right, we're back here. It's the bottom of the third inning, and one of the most crazy defensive changes I think I've ever seen without a pitching change. So there is no pitching change. Torrin Helly got given a glove that she was wearing a first baseman's glove, but isn't playing first base. She is moving from I thought she was going to pitch, is why she was getting a different glove.
Just going now from one corner to the other.
But she was going to the other corner, so she's going to play third base. So Torrin Helly is now at third. Faith Sherbrun is now going to be the new shortstop. We talked about some of the struggles that Myra Lemon was having at shortstop, including that last ball that was hit. So Sherbrun is going to play at shortstop. They're going to move the shortstop, Myra Lemon, out into left field. So she's now going to play in left, replacing Jade Rock, who will go to right field, replacing Greenlee Crimmins. So Crimmins comes out of the game. Helly goes from first to third base, and with Crimmins leaving, Brecken Ulrich, who was the designated player, will enter the game in the flex position as the first baseman. There we go.
That's some nice work. Way to break that one down.
Well, credit to the guys down here helping try to get eyes on this, because I thought for sure it was going to be a pitching change also. It does not appear that has been made. So all of those subs, by the way, brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can be worry-free with IMT at imtins.com.
That's a lot of subs that IMT just brought to us. Well done.
Wow.
6 of them without a pitching change.
I've never seen that. Schlins in center, Vandy at second, and Baylor Ulrich behind the plate, along with the pitcher Myers, are the only. Up the middle is the only one that
Green Crimmins comes out. So we assume that maybe she moves to the DP spot.
Yes, because Ulrich is in the batting order, so she just takes a spot at first base. Yeah, so she does become the DP in the order. So no new players. It's just a reordering of the people who were already in the order.
Yeah, so
pitcher, 5 new positions out there, yes.
Pitcher, catcher, second, and center field are the only positions that don't change.
And then the DP changes, so 6 of the 10 possible, as this is going to go all the way to the backstop, and both runners are going to advance on a wild pitch.
And yeah, I guess everything there is just triggered by the fact that we've already seen a couple errors out of the shortstop, who had been Myra Lemon. So
and she's still in the game. She's in left field now.
You just want to maybe get your more reliable shortstop out there to complete these throws.
But Myers was the shortstop when other people were pitching, but she's still pitching, which who's going to play short when she's pitching is the question. So they've moved the third baseman to short and the first baseman to third, who was also their number 1 pitcher. So 2-0 here. We'll see how Myers is able to navigate this against Gia Hoodger, who singled into left field first time up in the second.
Bill Sherburne, just a scorekeeper's nightmare, trying to keep track of these things.
2-0, and this one going to be fouled off. 2-1. Well, and this is the other thing, too. Helly continues to kind of go out there, and now you have Ulrich at first base, Brecken Ulrich. And so when you look at this, these are your 2 most experienced pitchers this season on the corners who can go and talk to her throughout, like kind of basically as tutors, if you will, while this freshman is out there, as it's 3-1 now to Hoodger.
1 ball away from loading the bases for a 3rd straight inning for Clarksville.
My head hurts, man. That was crazy. 3-1 here to Hoodger. And that's high. 6th walk issued by Myers. And we'll see if Bill Sherburne's going to continue to, as Helly goes out to talk to the pitcher. And the 9-hitter, Eve Jordan, just going to throw this out here. She's got a big hitting streak, but hit 2 really good fly balls. One that was foul that looked like it was potentially home run distance, and then one that was about 3 feet shy of the wall in center field that was caught by Schlins last inning. So now she bats with the bases juiced.
Couldn't dream of a better batter coming out of the 9 spot than somebody who can really get a hold of the ball. A sophomore who's already showing so much promise.
First pitch, she hits this on the ground. It's Helly. She's going to come home with a nice, easy throw, no return throw. Do you see how she took her time there? Mm-hmm. Like, what a good player you have. You can play her at first, you can play her at third. She's obviously been your number 1 pitcher. Doesn't play third that often, you wouldn't think. Fields that cleanly, takes her time, makes a nice, easy throw to Ulrich at the plate, and they cut down the lead runner for the second out of the inning.
I guess that's part of the advantage of having somebody with so much experience in Torrin Helly moving over to third base. You get a nice play like that out of somebody who has so much intelligence out on the field, somebody who knows what she's doing, has the abilities.
Fielder's choice, Jordan is at first, Hoodger is at second, and it is Micah Hall at third as Brecken Ulrich needed a tire shoe. And that's what we were waiting for.
And this is where the gamble kind of pays off with Bill Sherburne, just leaving Myers out there as long as he possibly can. Again, there's been a lot of tight spots here for the Gales, but they keep finding ways to get out of it. Just a matter of time to see if they're able to get out of a 3rd straight bases loaded jam.
It is Kate Lodge, the leadoff hitter. First pitch, that squirts away, and now late decision to run. Here's the play at the plate. She gets in there! Brianna Myers surprised that was a safe call by Tom Schreers behind the plate, but it did look like the hands of Micah Hall got in just ahead of the tag. If Myers would have been in front of the plate, kind of in the baseline, which again is, you don't want to get a collision or anything in that situation, but it did look like the glove was kind of more in the center part of the plate, and Hall went in with her hands first and got the corner of the plate before the tag was applied, at least from my angle.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that's what Tom Schreier saw behind the plate too. So on a wild pitch, a run crosses here for Clarksville to make it 4-2.
It was close, very close, and I don't know if we get a replay of that in normal situation, but I do think that we're going to be getting a pitching change though now. Looks like Tornhelli is indeed going to take the reins in the circle.
All right, so after the first ball to Kate Lodge, and it looks like Bill Sherburne just frustrated that his defense isn't finding a way to help Myers work out of these jams, but it will be Tornhelli that will get the ball now, her third position of the inning. We will get back to that in a moment and give you the subs and the changes, there are more now, and we will get to that next on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Ready? Let's go.
Mom, over here. Yeah, this kind of thing can happen when you're hiking, but no worries, Mom. I can prescribe something to soothe the itch.
Unity Point Health looks at your family's health from your point of view, offering same-day appointments with expertise focused on what matters most to you. Unity Point Health. Expert care focused on you.
Emery Songer and Owen Sebring with you. A few more defensive changes with the pitching changes. Tornhelli comes back in, entering the state tournament, 24 appearances, 122 and 2/3 innings, a 3.37 ERA, and was super clean with a 2-hit shutout in the first game against Remsen St. Mary's. After yesterday's game against Clarksville, wanted to save her a bit. She didn't pitch the entirety of their game against Remsen St. Mary's earlier today, and they were trying to work Rihanna Myers through this, but after that last run scored and now runners on second and third with the leadoff batter Kate Lodge at the plate, she is now getting the ball here, asked to try to get St. Edmund out of the frame. The third baseman, once again, is Faith Sherburne, who moves from short to third, and now the former pitcher Rihanna Myers is playing shortstop, which is her natural position. First pitch that's over the head of Lemon. That absolutely tattooed by Lodge. So the first pitch that Helly throws in relief, Lodge rips over the head of Lemon in left field, all the way to the wall for a 2-run double.
Those runs are going to be credited to Myers, of course, but still a clutch moment for Kate Lodge coming into this game, somebody who's been one of the most reliable hitters at this year's state tournament. She's reached base all 3 times today, had a single in the first, and then scored a run, and now comes in with a 2-run double to bring this game level again. We're tied at 4 with 2 outs, and Reagan Wedeking now stepping to the plate.
Unbelievable stuff this inning. Just more chaos in the girls' state softball tournament. I don't think I've seen a defensive inning like this before, in Clarksville trying to take as much advantage as they can.
And just such an interesting play there, because out in left field, that's Myra Lemon right now, it looked like I don't know if she quite expected that ball to come off the bat like it did, because
it was ripped.
She almost ran to her left first and didn't expect it to go back as far as it did.
And she just moved out there to left field. She was playing shortstop.
Yeah.
We don't get to watch these teams as, I believe, it's ball 2. I have no idea how often she's in the outfield versus playing shortstop versus anywhere else on the field, right? So she had just gotten out there earlier this inning. That was the first ball that she got to see. Here's the pitch. That's up high.
Yeah, Lemon did not play the other day when they were playing Remsen St. Mary's in the first round.
No, when we did that game, she was not in the lineup and did not get into the ball game. So, yeah, it's a tough one for your first action out there in left field, especially with the sun the way that it is. 2-1. And that bounces in, and now the runner's going to try to take third. Here's the throw down, not going to be in time. Good heads-up base running by Lodge. Put wild pitch down for that. Three and 1 the count. The batter is Reagan Wedeking. Sacrifice bunt in the first, a strikeout looking in the second. There's still 2 outs. They're just 1 pitch away from getting out of this with a tie ball game. But the way it happened, I think, is going to have St. Edmund fans feeling like they would have liked to have that one again. As this one swung on and missed by Wedeking. It is 3-2.
And there are going to be a lot of people wanting to go back to the one play at the plate where there was a wild pitch. Somebody comes in head first, just a bang-bang play between the tag and the runner tapping home with her gloves. Hard to say what got there first, but ruled safe, and St. Ed's fans weren't sure if they agreed with that call.
3-2. This is Gurnabal, and Helly again just showing her prowess in the field. 1-3 to get out of the jam. We're tied. It was a weird way to get there, but it is 4-4 through 3 between Clarksville and St. Edmund. We will come back with more after this on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Yeah, it's a trip when you hit the road. And when you know when you've arrived. It's a trip when you get everything you want. The burger and the fries, the creek and the crick, the city and the countryside. It's a trip when you're where you're meant to be. In this moment, in this bathroom mirror, looking like $1 million. And yeah, it's a trip when it goes by fast. Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours.
Excelling in athletics takes teamwork, dedication, and a commitment to excellence. These are the same qualities that help our pig farmers and our communities thrive. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics and the student athletes who make us all proud. Visit iowapork.org/wecare to meet the people behind the pork and hear about our winning approach to caring for our pigs, the environment, and our communities.
All right, back here in Fort Dodge. What a strange tournament we have seen in Class 1A, and I can't say it's the craziest thing that I've seen, but that defensive half inning for St. Edmund with, I think, a combined 9 changes in 2 different ways, and 2 different pitchers, and one player playing 3 different positions in the course of like 3 batters. Quite crazy. At the end of the day, well, not at the end of the day, but the end of the 3rd inning, it's 4-4. As the first pitch by Sydney Lovren misses inside to Baylor Ulrich, who will get us started for St. Edmund in the top of the 4th.
And Bill Sherbrun, ever the tactician, he just loves moving people around, seeing what he can spot at different positions. They're pitching for a late called strike, so the count's going to go to 1-1. But now I think we have the defensive positioning that we'll probably see for the remainder of today's game, I have to think. I don't know what that guy's got in mind. But once you get to Helly in there and get her pitching, I don't know if you'd want to remove her from the game unless things really go sideways for Fort Dodge St. Ed's. But
yeah,
we've seen a little bit of everything so far.
It just popped up. It's going to be behind the backstop and on top of our building here. And the count is 2-2. Baylor Ulrich hit a 2-run double and scored a run back in the 2nd inning. It's the 8th grader catching. And, man, what a challenge that she's had today. As this is going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3, and a first out of the inning recorded. 2nd strikeout from Sydney Lovren, who I'm sure was enjoying the little bit of a rest she got in that inning, because she hit in that inning, walked, and then got a courtesy runner for her and was sitting in the dugout the entire rest of that inning while all the chaos was going on, including multiple defensive changes. The strike at the knees as we're back to the top of the order in Ella Vandy. Vandy 1 for 2, singled back in the 2nd, flew out in the 1st to center.
With the new double elimination format, we're going to see going forward a lot of very heroic and impressive performances in the pitching circle for these state tournaments, because no matter what, we go from having to play 3 games at the state tournament if you're going to win a state championship. Every team, no matter what, is going to have to play at least 4 games. So there's a lot of pitchers out there that are going to be throwing every single pitch throughout the state tournament.
That's hit high, deep into center field. Looking up is a center fielder, Bolin, and she's going to pull it in at the wall. I think Vandy and I thought she got enough of it, maybe a little bit off the end of the bat, but Ella Vandy gave that one a ride. And the way Bolin kind of turned her back to the infield made me think maybe she thought it was gone, but then she reoriented just in front of the wall, found it, and made the play. I wonder if how much the wind is maybe pushing in. It was pushing in yesterday, but what a job by the center fielder Bolin to not give up on that ball and to get underneath it and make the play.
Brooke Bolin maybe hasn't had the most eventful week at the plate, but she almost deserves a spot on the all-tournament team just because of her defensive presence alone. Just so reliable and steady out there in center field.
Everybody keeps hitting it to her.
You always want your best outfielder playing center field. Obviously, you have to cover the most ground. And that's what she's doing well, but man, hardly ever see this many balls hit so well out there, and she's just covered so much ground.
It's flared out, play right side to Sophia Schlins. Walked in the first, then flew out to center last inning. Surprise, surprise.
As many have. She's got, center field has 4 putouts so far in this game.
We're going to have to keep a running total of that because she has been incredibly busy so far this week, bowling in center field. Looking for one more strike is Lovren for a quick 1-2-3 here in the 4th. This one high, 2-2. And now with Helly in the circle again, a pitcher that Clarksville did get to see yesterday. We'll see if all that is going to factor into their offense as this game wears on as well. As this one, a line drive that's over the head of Clark at second, and the inning will stay alive. Good piece of hitting with 2 strikes by Schlins.
And up to the plate, we're going to see Faith Sherburne coming in, and she does have 1 hit already today, but Sydney Lovren has won the battle so far against her. Sherburne was 0 for 3 against Clarksville in the second round yesterday. She's 1 for 1, I suppose, today. Had a walk in the first inning and a single in the second, but Sydney Lovren winning the battle so far against her. We'll see what happens this time up. Sherburne needing a hit to try to give her team back the lead again.
She swings at this one a little bit late, and it goes out of play right side.
Sherburne, I was tallying this up before the game to see how many multi-hit games Faith Sherburne has had. I was mentioning how well she played in the regional tournament. She has 26 multi-hit games throughout this season in just a 34-game season. That is really a remarkable piece of work.
Well, she's got another one here as she hits this one into left field for her second hit of the ball game. That'll move Schlins up to second, so this dangerous part in the top half of the order continues to hit the ball well for St. Edmund. And now with 2 outs and runners on first and second, it is Rihanna Myers, who was pitching to start this game, was really battling, and left them loaded a couple of times. They couldn't just find that last out for her in the bottom of the 3rd inning. But now she moves to her normal position at shortstop, and the freshman going to get a quick chat with Bill Sherburne down there on the third base side. And an RBI chance for her here to maybe give the Gales the lead once again.
I think as the tournament rolls on, if St. Ed's is able to get through this one and win 2 against Clarksville today, we're really going to be crediting Bill Sherburne as a master tactician, just finding a way to put whatever pitcher he can in there to try to get through things, saving his best arm in Torrin Helly as much as he possibly can. Myers, somebody today that's just helping spell the regular pitcher.
Popped out into right field. Hall is tracking it, fighting the sun, is under it. She's got it, no problem at all, and that will retire the side. So a little bit of a 2-out rally is extinguished by Lovren and her defense. We're halfway home in regulation here at Farm Bureau Field in the Class 1A semifinals. 4-4 the score. Fort Dodge, St. Edmund, and Clarksville on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Looks like another perfect day to get out there and enjoy the summer.
Forward before she gets in the car. It's easy to choose. B-E-R-F-E-C-T. B-E-R-F-E-C-T. Come on, baby, you look good on me. If you see what I can see, W-H-O-D.
Iowa State Fair, August 13th through the 23rd.
Head to the bottom of the 4th inning. It is Clarksville who has found a way to come back after a very eventful bottom of the 3rd inning. The big hit was a 2-run double from Kate Lodge on the first pitch thrown by Torrin Helly in relief. Helly's going to settle in for her first full inning of work as she'll face the heart of the order for Clarksville. Hannah Wangsness going to lead it off, and the first pitch to her is low 1-0.
Hannah Wangsness, we've talked about her this week, how reliable of a hitter she is out of that 3 spot in Clarksville's order. She broke the school's all-time RBI record. Overall, she's not quite going to reach 200 in her career, but getting about to the 180 mark.
This one bouncing in there, and it's 2-0 to her. She's 0 for 1 today so far. Flew out to left. which was Jade Rock at the time, who was drifting back and made a nice catch just in front of the wall. And then Wangsness walked as part of the second inning that Clarksville loaded him up and could not score. They loaded him up in the first, the second, and eventually would score 3 runs in a very busy third inning. But good things are going to happen when you load the bases up 3 straight innings, and that's what they were able to do.
Yep. 7 runners still left on, though, for Clarksville, so if anything goes awry for them, if they lose this game, they're certainly going to be looking those first 2 innings and the amount of runners that they left on base.
3-0 here to Wangsness. We'll see how Helly deals with that. First delivery here is just going to miss, and Wangsness a 4-pitch walk. This is the second time she's walked on 4 pitches, and the first walk in relief from Helly.
This is maybe part of the reason why Hannah Wangsness has only struck out 2 times this year in 102 at-bats. I think that's part of the reason. She's such a dangerous and reliable hitter who can drive in runs that I think more often than not teams are just not giving her anything to hit, and they're going to pitch around her as much as they can, so not putting too many in the strike zone.
And you know what? This is a great lineup that can give her a little bit of protection, but you really don't want to challenge her bat to beat you. You know, especially if you have a choice. It's the first pitch, a ball to Kara Bolin, 1-0. Bolin walked against Rihanna Myers back in the first and then grounded it out on a check swing with the bases loaded to the first baseman, who at the time was Torrin Helly. And that was just bad luck because she was trying to hold her swing up, and it somehow stayed fair after it made contact with the end of her bat. 6 straight misses by Helly to start this 4th inning.
Bolin's somebody who knows how to draw a walk, too. She broke the school's single-season record in walks taken.
My correction, it was 1-1. Pitch on the way. This one will bounce in, and that'll get away. Wangsness will easily take second on the wild pitch. Now it's 2-1.
Boy, this is a Clarksville team that we don't see very active on the base paths in general in terms of stolen bases.
Traditional steals, at least.
Exactly, yeah. Only, I think the team leader in stolen bases coming into state was somebody with 8.
Yeah.
So not a team that steals a lot, but they have been active out today with the amount of wild pitches and pass balls that we've seen out of St. Ed's.
2-1. The pitch. Ground ball right back to Helly. She looks the runner back, little 360, throws to first. She's so good out there. I mean, it's just natural. And you can tell she loves fielding, you know, because she's so calm. So she off a hop, Bolin hit it pretty good right back to her.
So good and comfortable with her glove. How many times have we seen in Class 1A this week with a sharp comebacker right to the pitcher circle, and it just glances off the glove and bounces into the outfield? Having somebody reliable like that in the circle defensively, so valuable for a team in 1A.
And this is just going to be over her head, a little blooper, and it's going to find the outfield. They're going to stop the runner Wangsness at third base. So Lovren, first pitch swing, and she walked twice. This time, little soft line drive that goes over the top of Helly and lands harmlessly into the outfield. And it looks like they're going to get Emerson Miller back out there to run for her. So with that, runners on the corners and 1 out. But back to the play just real quick by Helly. To make the play, have the awareness that there's a runner at second, look her back to second, and then quickly run over to third base or first base and make a good throw to first to get the out. Really impressive. But now she finds herself in a jam after the single by Lovren, and Brooke Bolin at the plate with runners on the corners and 1 out. She hits this into the air in center. Schlins under it. She's got it. Runner on the way home. They will not make a throw home. Scoring easily is Wangsness, and Clarksville takes the lead 5-4 on the RBI sac fly by Bolin out to center. They just situational hitting, especially late in games. We're not really what I would call late in this game yet, but situationally they don't miss with the bats. They don't. Whatever they're needing, whatever they're looking for, they're able to achieve that. It's really impressive. Is this one line foul, third base side by the 8th grader Micah Hall?
That's actually, I believe, Brooke Bolin's first RBI of the state tournament with all the runs that this team has scored. First time that she's driven one in, as she got one on the sacrifice fly. But that's exactly what you get, again, when you have an experienced lineup who's played so many games, not just in the regular season, but so many games here at the state tournament. Had 3 last year. This is their 3rd one this year that they've played in. They've been there in the past 2 and 23 that they were here for some of the upperclassmen on this team. So they've just played so much softball that hard to make them make a mistake.
Hall does swing through this one, 0-2. Reached on a fielding error and scored in that wacky bottom of the 3rd inning. Clarksville trailed 4-1 before that inning began, and then scored 3 in the bottom of the third to tie the game. Now they've taken the lead as this is going to be put in play. Sherburne on a few hops, has time, throws to first to Ulrich in time to retire the side. But one scores on the sac fly, and Clarksville takes a 5-4 lead after 4 innings. We'll head to the 5th when we return. St. Edmund looking to strike back on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Excuse me, man. You dropped this.
We head to the 5th. St. Edmund at the plate. And now for the first time in this game since they took the lead in the second, they are trailing 5-4. Jade Rock at the plate, 0-1 to her. She is 1 for 2, had an infield hit back in the third inning. And there's strike 2 on a swing and a miss.
She had a couple RBI against Sydney Lovren in this Clarksville team in the second round game that they played yesterday. And Fort Dodge St. Ed's now with 9 outs before they are eliminated against the Indians, needing to find some signs of life here in this inning.
Rock takes a close one. 1-2 is the count. Did want to give the final line for Rihanna Myers in the circle. She pitched 2 2/3 innings there, and she was trying to battle. The walks really kind of were her undoing mostly, and I know her defense made a couple of misplays as Rock takes one high, 2-2 the count. 2 2/3 innings, only 2 hits allowed by my count. 4 runs, none of them earned by my count.
Okay.
Left the bases loaded 2 different times, but 6 walks and then 1 strikeout, as this one's going to see its way through the middle for a leadoff single by Rock, and she is aboard to start this 5th inning. But just real quick, 6 walks and 2 2/3, that's tough, but leaving them loaded twice, it was a wild pitch that was the end for her and allowed a run to score, but I think probably mission accomplished, all things considered. Almost 3 full innings for her. I think Bill Sherburne would say he would have liked a little bit more, but she did the job and kept them in the game for as long as she did, and it was actually Kate Lodge against Helly that was the big blow.
Yeah, and he also knows that if it weren't for some defensive miscues, she could have gotten out of that 3rd inning. It's exactly what he wanted, just somebody to come in there, do the job, find a way to get a few innings, give Torn Helly at least a little time off, because if St. Ed's wins this game, then I would have to think that Helly's going to see every single pitch in that last do-or-die game that could be the one that sends St. Ed's to the championship game. Again, they would have to beat Clarksville twice in a row, this game included, and then later tonight, I believe it's 7:15 is about the start time for that one, if it is necessary.
1-1 showing Bunt pulling back, and now the runner goes. Here's the throw down to second, not in time. A little bit of a hesitation there by Rock as the bunt wasn't laid down by Brecken Ulrich.
So by my count, that is 7 stolen bases in this game for Fort Dodge St. Edmonds. And that, I believe, matches their total for the rest of the state tournament games combined. Over the first 3 games, they'd stolen 3, 3, and 1 base in those respective games.
There's a stab at a bunt attempt there.
So they have been much, much more, for a team that's already so aggressive on the base paths, they had been somewhat conservative by their metric in the first few games, but this one they are going right after it every single time, making sure that they're going to have Kate Lodge beat them if she's going to do it, and she has not so far. 7 successful stolen bases.
This ball hit into the air by Brecken Ulrich, and center fielder Bolin is there. She'll squeeze it and get it back in quickly for the first out. Just another quick note on that play. It was kind of interesting how Rock was running. It's almost like she was trying to draw a throw and then just decided that she was going to keep going. And then Lodge kind of like hesitated on the throw because she didn't know if she was supposed to throw it to first behind her or maybe try to throw it in front of her at second. And then it's just a good slide.
Yep.
Part of base running that we don't talk about too awful much is the sliding. And they always slide to the back of that second base bag, and it's so hard to get that tag on them. As the first pitch to Crimmins is a bunt, and it will roll foul. It was a good effort, but the slap hitting extraordinaire, not a traditional slapper, but she has shown her ability to just put it in play left side and try to leg out some infield hits.
And if you look at the outfielders, boy, look how, there's no doubt that they're counting on this ball not going to the outfield. Probably playing about as deep as the infield would go on a baseball diamond.
Yeah, and they are doing that so they can try to throw out a runner at home. This is going to be a quick throw over to first base. Nicely done, retreating to the bag by the first baseman, Carable, and as they throw behind the runner at third, not going to get her. As Rock moves along, Crimmins does get a productive out, but that's some good communication on the 4-3 ground out on Crimmins for Capri Clark, and then leading Bolin back to the bag because she was so far in. She had to retreat about 15 feet to go find the bag.
Another one of those plays that I think we see successful because of just good coaching and good practice techniques. Because if you're a good coach, you're walking your team through every single possible scenario, and that's exactly one that she would have done in the past. And so making sure that they know, okay, if the infield is playing in, how do I field it cleanly? And for the first baseman, how do I retreat to the base? Just something that you practice back and forth as you're having the right fielder also coming in and making sure that they're backing up if the throw goes wild.
Right.
Every single step of this team, and if you're going to be a good state championship caliber team, has to be so finely tuned, so perfectly orchestrated. Everything just has to work perfectly when you're playing softball.
So Torrin Helly came to the plate and looked like she was going to bat for Myra Lemon. She's the flex player, but the spot in the order that she's in would be the Ulrich spot, who was the DP before. And with all of the changes that we saw, Greenlee Crimmins, who we just saw bat, we saw all those changes. The technical DP spot was Greenlee Crimmins in the 7 spot. So Helly couldn't bat in the 8 spot because her spot's the DP spot as the flex player. So now, after she pump faked like she was going to hit here with 2 outs in the 5th, it's back to Grace Crimmins, who hit last time for this spot in the order, which was a ground out to second after a 9-pitch at bat back in the 3rd.
You have to be very knowledgeable about how this game works and how the substitutions work to figure everything
and on
out.
top of this eliminates Myra Lemon from the game. So this is the second time that she's been removed because she returned with the reentry to play in the field, because Crimmins hit for her the last time. So
and this is just so hard for Bill Sherburne even to keep track of everything. He's got to know his substitution so well.
And that's the thing. He thought Helly could bat in this spot, but but she can't bat in a spot that's not technically the DP spot. The other Crimmins is in the DP spot, and she hit for herself. So as far as we know, Grace Crimmins is pinch hitting and is in the left fielder spot for right now in this 8-hole in the order. And she will bat with 2 outs and a runner on third base, which represents the tying run here in the top of the 5th.
Got it.
Do you? Because I'm not sure I do.
No.
1-0 the count.
So are we going to see some changes to the defense then when St. Ed's takes the field
Lemon
next?
can't play left field now.
Okay, so probably going to see Grace Crimmins or somebody else in left field. Maybe Jade Rocks moves back to left and somebody goes to right.
Oh, don't even put that in the don't even put that in the sphere as 2-0 the count, because theoretically, and again, I don't want to speak out of school here, but theoretically, Greenlee Crimmins could then come back into the outfield also. If there's a strike, 2-1, because she's in the DP spot.
Yes.
And she started the game in right field. So you could really just re-rack your entire outfield, and then this 8 spot would at that point become the DP spot. 2-1. Ground ball up the middle. That'll get through. A base hit. Grace Crimmins. She works a 9-pitch at bat. Her first time up. Didn't even know she was going to take this at bat until they couldn't get the lineup worked out. And the 8th grader, ties the game with an RBI single up the middle.
And how do you like this? Again, just about her 8th at-bat of the season, I think. Only her 3rd hit of the year. Only her 2nd RBI of the entire season. Wow, we've seen so much new at this year's state tournament.
This one going to be fielded with her stomach, and then the short up on the throw. Bolin can't dig it out. Looks like Jordan had to wear that one. That's how you play infield, though, at the hot corner. You can't get a glove on it, just get in front of it. And that thing came up right into the middle of her midsection. She grabbed it, she caught it with her, kind of like a football.
Yeah.
And then tried to make the throw across the diamond, and it short hopped. And Baylor Ulrich reaches on what's going to go down E5. That's a tough error for the third baseman, but the throw was just a little too low. And now runners on first and second, and we're back to the top. And Ella Vandy, with her 4th plate appearance here, sees ball 1-0. And now it's Lovren looking for her defense to try to help her get out of this frame after the single by Crimmins, and then the error. Popped up, that's out of play behind us. 1-1. Vandy last time up gave one a ride to center, and it just kind of died out there deep in the outfield, and Bolin was able to make the catch. So she's gone out to her twice in center.
Yeah, that's right. Bolin, who's been so active here in this game, put out in every single inning in this game so far.
There's a called strike on the outside corner, and now Lovren is 1 strike away from working out of this little 2-out jam. 5-5 the score. An elimination game for St. Edmund. Clarksville trying to move on to the championship game. This is a ground ball, and again a horrible hop. Jordan, no throw. What do you do with that one? That is so tough. That had so much top spin, and it looked like it just took a huge jump.
And just kind of hit her in the chest again, it looked like. Just kind of had to knock it down, which again is what you want to do, whether you're almost like a catcher. Just get your body in front of it and make sure it doesn't go anywhere, doesn't get behind you, because that could score a run.
I got to put that down as a hit. I don't know how you could give her an error.
That would be a hard one to field. So now after so many bases-loaded situations that Clarksville has been in today, now it's Fort Dodge St. Edmund who loads up the bases with a chance to take the lead in this one. 2 outs already in this inning. Sydney Lovren, after getting 2 quick outs in this one, now 4th straight batter after getting that second out.
Yeah, we'll see. 0-1 the count. And Schlintz hits it up the middle, a base hit. One's going to score, and it gets past Bolin. Another will score. They're going to send a 3rd runner to throw to the plate in time. Oh, what a relay from center to cut down Vandy at the plate. Vandy a little shaken up. She's going to try and walk this off, and they're going to talk about potentially a blocking of the plate. We'll try to sort this out when we come back, but my goodness, holy cow, what a turn of events. But 2 runs are in. 7-5 St. Edmund over Clarksville on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy.
Life's buzzing with energy. From the delightfully routine, to the novel and exciting, to the truly uncharted. With all that life brings, it's easy to lose track of what powers all those moments, our health. At Mercy One, our caring doctors focus on just that, powering health, from the everyday to the extraordinary. So you're ready for what life brings next. Find care at mercyone.org/healthpowerslife.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
All right, what an ending we had to the top of the 5th inning. Let's just break it down. Sophia Schlintz hits an RBI single to center. I give her 1 RBI. The second run I don't think was coming initially as Bolin was fielding the ball in shallow center field. She overruns the ball. That's an error, E8. The first run was scored by Grace Crimmins. Baylor Ulrich then follows her on the error made in center. The 3rd runner, who started at first base, Ella Vandy, tried to score all the way from first on the misplay, and she's cut down 8-6-2 in the book as the relay goes from Bolin to Wanksness, the shortstop, to Lodge, the catcher. And there was a little bit of an argument being made by Bill Sherbrun that maybe there was like a blocking of the plate. She wasn't given a lane to the plate, but the argument was very brief. And, the home plate umpire.
It looked like she was a little bit in front of the plate, I think. Yeah.
And then when she has the ball, she has the right to get in the baseline at that point.
Yeah.
And she had the ball. So Vandy looks like she's shaking it off. She is back at second base after she kind of slowly walked back to the dugout after sliding home.
Let's see who we have out there. So number 6 is playing, or no, that's number 5 in left field. That's Rock. So Rock does move back to left field.
And then it's Greenlee Crimmins is back in right field. So
Greenlee
it
back
is
in
the
right
original
field.
Outfield again with Rock in left.
And Greenlee Crimmins
Schlins
in
is still in center, and Greenlee Crimmins is the right fielder, which makes Grace Crimmins in the 8th spot in the order the DP spot. This one on the first pitch is inside to Gia Hoodry.
Got all that. Okay.
I think we got all
And
of
I
it.
got to say this for Brooke Bolin, who we've talked about so many times this week for all the plays that she's made out there in center field. Tough way for her to get an error on that play, just overrunning the ball, maybe a little ambitious because she knew she was going to maybe need to make a play
Hard
at home.
hit. Look at the play at short by Myers. She started in the circle, but you can tell she's a shortstop. And I'm sure in the future she's going to pitch plenty for the St. Edmunds school, but she can play that shortstop position.
Yeah, well, as long as you've got Helly there, boy, you'd love to keep Myers at shortstop. That is a tough one to get a ball after. But to go back to Brooke Bolin, who played so well, had the error, but again, to have the presence of mind to recover, hit the relay throw, and get it home to preserve at least one run from scoring.
Yeah, what about Wangsness on the relay throw there?
Yeah, just great placement on the throw, too. Just got in there right in time for them to apply the tag low. Good execution on the tag out, but not before a couple of runs scored for Fort Dodge St. Ed's now with a 7-5 lead over Clarksville.
1-0 the count on the way. Swing and a miss, 1-2 or 1-1. Yeah, and that's a huge out at home there because Faith Sherburne was the next batter due up. And so you have their best bat due up in that situation. I almost don't wonder if Clarksville is just like, you know what, that worked out just fine for us.
Yeah.
It's an additional run that scored, but we got out of the inning and Sherburne has to bat with nobody on. As there's the glove of Helly showing up again on a quick, sharp one-hopper right back to her to retire Eve Jordan. Her and Myers and Sherburne, who's playing third base, they are fun to watch field.
Yeah, and that's the type of play that, again, you get with a great defensive player because there were a few balls that came through the pitching circle in the top half of this fifth inning that Sydney Lover maybe just doesn't have the speed or agility to get to that could have been an out. But when you have a pitcher in there like Torrin Helly who does have a little bit more grace and agility, she's able to reach those ones. And instead of a base hit up the middle, it turns into a 1-3 put out at first base.
Yeah, and it really just depends. This circle's a big spot. You see a lot of teams, they leave that middle wide open.
Yeah.
They really play the shortstop deep in the hole on the left side. The second baseman is usually playing, as you can see here, a few steps even in just in case there's, a little dribbler. There's a 1-0. It's going to be over once again to Myers. She knocks this down, and she's not going to have a play. So right on cue, we're singing the praises, and that one eats her up a little bit and handcuffs her. E6 on Myers there. That's the third error out of the shortstop spot in this game for the Gales. And that keeps the inning alive here for a really good spot in the order with Wedeking, and then Wangsness is looming in the on-deck circle.
Errors have been such a major factor in this game and throughout the tournament. On day one, I remember in the very first game we were calling, we talked about how big it can be when you have a solid defensive unit out there who can be reliable. Once the errors start to pile up, anything goes. You just never know what's going to happen when these errors start to come up.
We know that's a good defender out there that committed that error just now. Is Wedeking. This is going to be in play. A high pop-up, long run for Vandy. Can't get there. It's a foul ball.
Ooh, that was close. I thought it looked like she about would have touched that with her glove.
Yeah, but it just kept drifting. I mean, that side spin on the ball, and there has to be a bit of a wind blowing in from left field that pushed that ball foul because it looked like it was going to right field off the bat. Either way, it's just a strike to Wedeking, who's 0 for 2. A sacrifice bunt, a strikeout, and a ground out to the pitcher back in the third back in the third inning. But man, it's just even. I'll get to my point here in a second after this 0-1. It's outside 1-1. We've seen that, and it was Jordan out there at third base last half inning a couple of just awful hops. I mean, you can't really do anything except what she did, and she just had to wear them. She got peppered by a couple of balls there. Sometimes the infield just has a few imperfections, and with that spinning softball and those seams, sometimes it can just hop up on you and make it a more difficult play. Because I know when I'm out there, if I were out there, I wouldn't be able to make those plays either, especially when they're scalded like that, coming right at you, and they take a couple of weird hops on the way to you. And then, with only 60 feet of a base path, you have to be very quick with the kind of speed we're seeing from these two teams.
Yeah, you just never know what's going to happen out there. We saw a game a couple of days ago where it was the same thing over at second base, where the ball just kind of kept taking some funky little hops over there and was just so hard to field. You've got to be an elite fielder to take some of those things.
This one going to be fouled straight down off of the inside of the front leg of Wedeking, and it evens the count 2-2. And they drag this infield a lot between games. I mean, they do a great job just trying to even out the surface, but as people run around on it, as balls are hit, it changes the surface as the game wears on.
But that too is why we've seen the insurgence of having masks for basically everybody that's in the infield, just for safety reasons, because that ball is so unpredictable on a short field.
2-2. Pop foul. We'll do it again. Yeah, I've unfortunately seen a few that the mask has come in and saved some girls.
Really?
But yeah, it's, line drives as close as especially the third baseman plays and the pitcher plays. You got to protect that, the visage.
It really is amazing for all the years that pitchers didn't wear masks. Just, I mean, it's so close between the pitching circle and really some hard hit balls that can come back right away.
2-2, ground ball. Myers got another shot at it. She takes a couple of steps, goes to first in time to retire the side, and we're through 5. A quiet inning here for St. Edmund defensively in Clarksville. Right here after this, it is 7-5. We will have more on the way. 6th inning upcoming on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
SWIC is a community. Southwestern Community College is a place in rural southwest Iowa where students from across the world come to be a part of a tight-knit family, Spartan Nation, where they study, train, grow, thrive, and are called by name, not by number. At SWIC, we are one.
Starting the 6th inning, looks like we're going to have a change in the Clarksville defense. A new pitcher warming up in the circle. And it's pretty interesting here at this stage of the game, down by 2 in the latter innings, to then go to Brooke Bolin, the center fielder, now moving to pitch. And Owen, I think we were waiting for something like this to eventually give, because in my count, 117 pitches already thrown through 5 for Sydney Loverin, who, by the way, threw 15 straight innings on Monday and then pitched a full game against this same Fort Dodge St. Edmund school yesterday. So pretty interesting here, as it looks like she has moved herself out into left field, but we're going to get a chance to see Bolin pitch here in the 6th.
And that is creates a couple interesting things to look at, because we've talked so many times about how busy Bolin has been out in center field. To remove that solid defensive presence from center field and have somebody else out there does at least play a little bit of a factor. And I don't know if there would have been a different decision made if Clarksville still had the lead or if it was a tied game. I just wonder at this point if Clarksville knows, well, we're going to have our bats come to life in the last 2 innings to get back into this game anyway, so may as well potentially.
And it's going to be hit out to right center field on the first pitch to Sherbrun. She rounds first. The throw comes into second. It comes in time. What a throw out there in center field.
Well, just as I was saying that we might have a little bit of a lag in talent out there in center field with Bolin moving to pitcher, just an incredible throw made from center field to the shortstop right on a dime, perfectly placed to get the runner out as she was trying to stretch a single into a double. Perfect play there from center field. I think we're right now trying to figure out who's moving where in the outfield, because with with the change of Bolin moving from center field to the pitcher.
Yeah, it's Wedeking who moved from left to center. Just wanted to get a clarification because you cannot read these numbers that far away on Clarksville's roster, which, again, I'm going to say, get off my lawn. We need to outlaw these dark-on-dark numbers, but either way, as Myers is up, it is 1 and 2 to her. Sherbrun absolutely tattooed that ball out there into center field. Right center field. Wedeking just gets out there. It's the first pitch thrown by Bolin. It looks like extra bases for sure with the speed of Sherbrun, but Wedeking to Wangsness, you couldn't do it better than that. Put her right on the bag, and she had a couple of steps to spare.
So is Lovren over in left field now?
Yes,
is that the case? Okay.
So Wedeking goes from left to center, Lovren from the pitching circle into left field, and then the center fielder Bolin moves to the circle as hit by pitch on a 2-2 count puts Myers at first base. And how big is that out just to settle Bolin down? We'll get to the Lovren line in a second. It's the first pitch to Rock. Inside corner for a strike, 0-1. Rock is 2 for 3 with a single and a run scored last time up in the fifth. Wow, just a lot going on in this one. You do not usually see this kind of chaos in the scorebook in a regulation game. As far as, as 0-2 is now the count here to Rock.
Something interesting to watch for as we get into the bottom of the sixth as well is Sydney Lovren. She's had a designated courtesy runner.
This has popped up. Is this playable? Wangsness ranging deep into left field, able to make the backhand catch. You want to talk about a complete player as well. What a hitter Wangsness is, and she goes way into left field to make that play.
The point I was just about to make was that Lovren, now if she gets on base, she's had a courtesy runner throughout the game. So if she gets on, do you have a pinch runner come in? Do you leave her in?
Pinch runner. If she doesn't run for herself, it'd be pinch runner, and then she has still the one re-entry now that she's a position player. So we'll get to that because she is going to be due up in the bottom of the sixth. The first pitch is strike to Ulrich. Brecken Ulrich, that is. 1 for 2, an RBI bases loaded walk, and a run scored as part of her day at the plate. And she hits this one on the ground through the hole on the left side. That'll be a hit. Lovren comes up with it and will get it in. With 2 outs, runners on first and second here on another hit by the freshman Brecken Ulrich.
And I'm curious, Emery, do you think that, as the point I was trying to make earlier, if Clarksville was still in the lead or the game was tied, would they have left Lovren in, or do you think she was coming out of this game either way?
I 100% think she finishes this game.
Okay.
Until she runs into trouble.
Right.
But again, like I said, 117 pitches right now already. You got to start thinking, okay, so what if she has to throw another game tonight with all the workload that she already has? Infield comes in for Greenlee Crimmins, the hybrid slap hitter. She swings through the first one, 0-1.
And then if Clarksville takes the lead in the bottom of the sixth, do you move her back?
She could.
Possibly?
It's possible.
Come in for her own save. Who knows?
Who knows? That's the answer. Whatever. This one fouled off. Crimmins in the hole, 0-2. She's had an eventful day. Greenlee Crimmins. An infield single and a run scored in the second. Reached on a fielder's choice in the third, and then grounded a second in the fifth. Runners on first and second, 2 outs here in the top of the sixth. Then she pokes this foul, stays alive, still 0-2.
Didn't know if we might see the base runners start to go here. Brecken Ulrich, she had the team's only stolen base from yesterday's game when they played Clarksville. A little less aggressive than they usually are when they were facing off yesterday. But with runners on first and second, 2 outs.
This one going to be popped out into left, just foul, out of the range of Lovren, who was trying to get there. As much as Lovren pitches, I'm sure she plays in the outfield some, but this is definitely a different. I mean, you got to keep her bat in the line.
Yeah,
but that's what we know.
Yeah, and that's a tough spot. Maybe doesn't have quite the amount of speed as Reagan Wedeking, who's their normal left fielder. So that's a tough play.
She's hugging the line. I mean, she is right down the line for Crimmins here. Is another pitch. This one right back to the pitcher, Bolin. She goes to first for the easy out, and a couple are stranded here in the sixth. Good job by Bolin coming in and pitching an inning. It kind of surprised us that she came into the game, but she does a good job of getting out of it with a 0. We head to the bottom of the sixth, 7-5. St. Edmond in the lead. Clarksville still has 6 offensive outs to work with on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Ready? Let's go.
Mom, over here.
Yeah, this kind of thing can happen when you're hiking, but no worries, Mom. I can prescribe something to soothe the itch.
Unity Point Health looks at your family's health from your point of view, offering same-day appointments with expertise focused on what matters most to you. Unity Point Health, expert care focused on you.
All right, back in Fort Dodge. It's Farm Bureau Field. Emery Songer with you along with Owen Sebring as we head to the bottom of the sixth for Clarksville. It's Hannah Wangsness, Kara Bolin, and Sydney Lovren, the heart of the order, to face Torrin Helly in the circle, and St. Edmund with a 7-5 lead. If this result holds now, these two teams will play another game, the third time they've seen each other in the third game of the day for St. Edmund. If they win here, that game will take place later on tonight, and it was scheduled for about 7:30 in the 7 o'clock hour. We'll see how that goes because there will be no game immediately after this one as Edgewood Colesburg on the other side of the bracket has already punched their ticket into the final. Now, as Wangsness comes to the plate, she has not seen a strike since the first inning. A 4-pitch walk in the second, a 4-pitch walk in the fourth, and now facing Helly for the second time. And now she hits this one right back up the middle. There is that first strike, and that's why you got to be real careful with her as she can get herself on base, and she is aboard. And nobody out here in this sixth inning. Final line for Sydney Lovren we'll get to when she comes to the plate here momentarily, but the cleanup hitter is Kara Bolin, who is 0 for 2 with a walk in this one.
Yeah, curious to hear about that final line for Lovren because she's thrown so many pitches this weekend. Don't know if she's going over the 300 mark at this point, but man, she has had such a busy weekend now.
She definitely is. I mean, we're talking 400-ish now. I mean, I don't know how many she threw exactly yesterday against St. Edmund, but
yeah, certainly over 300, yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm sure she's over 400 at this point pretty easy and knocking on 5.
Wow.
In 3 days.
And if they play 2 more games.
And they could play another game tonight.
Yeah.
0-1 here, and this one's going to get all the way to the backstop. Takes a big bounce away from the catcher, Ulrich. Taking second is Wangsness on the wild pitch. And it's 1-1 here to Bolin, who represents the tying run here in the sixth. And we know Clarksville, they just will not go away. And it was the sixth inning yesterday in a very similar spot where they were losing to Fort Dodge St. Edmund and came back and took the lead in the sixth and finished it out in the seventh. They're looking to do the exact same thing here. Down by 2, though, as the swing and a miss by Bolin is 1-2 now the count.
Cardiac Clarksville. 3 runs they scored in the sixth inning yesterday to give them the lead that they would not give up to punch their ticket to this round, whatever you want to call it, the next round of the semifinals.
I would say semifinals.
Any game between the quarters and finals is the semifinals.
With 4 teams left, good enough for me.
Three games that are semifinals, essentially.
This just misses from Helly. 2-2 now the count to Bolin. Lovren and her RBI prowess in the on-deck circle.
Bolin dangerous in a lot of facets. Second 1A in walks taken. She had an RBI yesterday against St. Ed's.
The 2-2. She hits this back up the middle. That'll be a hit. They are going to hold the runner Wangsness at third, and now they're on the corners. That was basically the exact same hit that we just saw. Right back up the middle. No chance for Helly to make the play. And as we talk about, they really play in softball, and it's not just this team, it's every team. The second baseman is well off the middle, as is the shortstop more deep in the hole. So any hard hit ball up the middle, if the pitcher can't get to it, it is easily a single. And now with runners on the corners, nobody out, Sydney Lovren will bat. She has not been retired at the plate in this game. 2 walks and a single last time up.
Likely to see Kara Bolin's second stolen base of the game. I have to imagine with no outs that she's going to be taken off here for second without a contested throw, if I'm a betting man.
We will see about that. You never know.
About that.
First pitch showing a half-hearted bunt and taking it for a strike is Lovren. No action over at first for Bolin. Here is the final line by my count of Lovren in the circle. 5 innings of work. She gave up 12 hits, 7 runs. By my count, 4 of those 7 were earned. 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, 117 pitches, 66 strikes, and 51 were balls. And she worked with a lot of control issues early in the game that she had to kind of work through. She fouls this one out of play right side, 0-2.
So 117 pitches, boy, so she's got to be well over 400 for the week so far.
In 3 days.
Yeah.
And, again, we potentially have another game tonight that you would imagine she would be starting. I couldn't imagine that they would start Bolin.
Yeah, I have to think she'd go start to finish in that game.
But we'll see. If Bolin has another strong 7th inning here, maybe she starts and Lovren could come on in relief if necessary, kind of how the Gales used Helly in this one. 0-2. This one popped up on the infield. Myers is tracking it. She's got it. That's a huge out. No advancement from the runners. Big time to get Lovren at the plate for the first time.
Yeah, last thing you want to do in that situation if your player at the plate is just a simple infield pop-up like that. You want to at least push it deep, so hopefully somebody could tag up and score, but nothing doing there, and the lead remains 2 runs for Fort Dodge St. Edmund. Now 5 outs away from forcing a winner-take-all game later tonight. The winner would punch their ticket to the 1A state championship game.
Brooke Bolin at the plate now, the new pitcher. She grounds this one up the middle, knocked down by the second baseman, Vandy, but she can't do anything with it. So put an RBI. The runner was going to score anyway, Wangsness, so it's an RBI for Bolin. But I'm going to go E4 there as it was slow roller to Vandy, but she kind of, I think if she gets that cleanly, there's a chance she's got to play at either first or second.
And something that we saw that has been an issue for some teams this weekend is that Kara Bolin, who was on first base, she was about to maybe have a collision again with herself and the second baseman who was about to make the play or field the ball. She slowed up just enough to avoid that runner's interference that we've seen a couple of times this weekend from some people on the base paths. Smart play by her to see that the ball was about to get there, allow the second baseman to make the play, and then advance on over to second.
Pinch hitter is going to be Cabry Lovren, a freshman. So a second Lovren that we're going to see here, hitting in the Micah Hall spot. Hall was 0 for 3 in the game. Bolin at first base running for herself as the pitcher. And Lovren, this one eats up Myers. She's going to go to third. She had a play right in front of her at second for an out. Instead, tried to get the lead runner at third. No chance to get her. And now the bases are loaded. That goes down as a fielder's choice. No error on the play, but that was an out waiting to happen. No out occurs, and now we're going to get a conversation. Bill Sherbrun, you can see some of his frustration as he saunters out to the circle. But Owen, now all of a sudden Clarksville in a very reminiscent situation we've seen. When they are getting late in games here at the state tournament, they somehow find a way to put that tying run in dangerous positions, and now the lower portion of this order a chance to push across the tying run and maybe even a go-ahead run here in the 6th.
They've played so well under pressure this entire week, having to play from behind in the late innings multiple times, having to come from behind yesterday against Fort Dodge St. Edmund, where they scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, already got 1, now in line with 2 more runners in scoring position there. 3rd time they've had the bases loaded today. They loaded them up against Rihanna Myers in the 1st and the 2nd inning, now against Helly. They have them loaded again. I'm still trying to figure out what Myers was doing on that play, going over third base. The runner was just about there to the base by the time she threw it over. Would have had almost an easy play at first or second.
Yeah, and the play is right in front of her at second. You know, she's a freshman pit player. We know she's good. We've seen her make some great plays out there at shortstop, a good defender, but it's those experiences and understanding where all of the runners are, I think, that is going to come with age. And there's a lot of youth out there right now for the Gales, and it's something that they're definitely going to have to learn from as this game and the rest of this tournament potentially unfolds for them and going into future years with this roster that they have. Hutcher down the line, just foul.
Oh, barely foul. That was just inches away. Man, everybody still advanced trying to I think they thought that was foul, but umpire right away called it correctly. It was so close, just inches away from kicking up some chalk, but it was a foul ball.
Nobody knows, even though all of the umpires were calling foul immediately.
Yeah.
They all are just kind of looking around,
Yeah.
but now they will go back to their bases. Gia Hudger, a single her first time up back in the 2nd, walked and scored a run back in the 3rd, and then grounded a short last time in the 5th.
Another strong player late in the order. Had 2 hits yesterday, had a double against Fort Dodge St. Edmund.
The 0-1, that's high, 1-0. Yeah, I mean, we can't see the line the way that the ball kind of obscured it, but the third base umpire, Mike Deerkoop, is right there, and it did look maybe just a hair foul, maybe a softball length foul down the line, because that could score 2, maybe even 3, the way that was hit.
Yeah, it was the right call, certainly, but boy, it was close.
1-1, still just 1 out right now that Helly's trying to work around. Down by 1, Clarksville looking to try to tie the game. That's outside, 2-1.
Can't mess around too much here with the strike zone. You don't want to walk somebody here and just walk in the tying run.
And I would I want to give a shout out to Cabri Lovren. Comes in. First pitch she sees from
Yeah.
Helly. She puts in play and forces the misplay out there, and now the bases are loaded and the tying run at third. Ground ball up the middle. That's through. A base hit. One is in. A second runner is on the way home. She will score. And just like that, again, Clarksville with 3 in the 6th. They take the lead 8-7. Gia Hudger in the 8-hole.
How do they keep doing it day after day? This team comes from behind, playing under pressure. Head coach Katie Berman not putting any pressure on her team, just puts them out there and lets them do their thing. Gosh, what do you got to say about Gia Hudger? Batting out of the 8 spot. Yesterday goes 2 for 3 with a double against Fort Dodge St. Edmond. Today gives her team the lead with a 2 RBI single. She's been unbelievable out of that 8 spot.
That is, you're going to get a hit runner here for Clarksville. Bailey Jordan is going to be the pinch runner for Hudger. Bailey Jordan, the runner at first.
She's only had 1 AB this year, but scored a couple of runs probably coming out of the pinch runner spot.
8th grader at first is a swing by Eve Jordan, fouled back 0-1.
Talking about the young talent, man. We've got 4
Wow.
listed 8th graders on that roster for Clarksville, and they're all finding ways to contribute.
That is unbelievable from Hudger there in that spot. And now, I mean, they're not out of it yet. They can keep tacking on as they have just the one out and runners on first and second. Here's the pitch from Helly. Jordan over the top of the breaker. That is such a beautiful pitch.
Something to
there.
say about Jordan. I mentioned earlier she was on a 14-game hit streak coming into this one, but has not got a hit today. She's 0 for 3 so far.
Let's see if she can keep that alive here. This may be her last at bat. We will have to see. The 0-2 on the way to her from Helly. And she takes high 1-2. So shout out to Cabri Lovren, the freshman who comes in and gets aboard via fielder's choice, which loads the bases. And then Gia Hudger, the freshman, right after that with the 2-run single. Unbelievable situational hitting by these players. 1-2. Ground ball. Look at Helly. She'll go to third for 1. They'll throw it across the diamond, not quite in time. Good dig by Ulrich down there at first base. Does she have glue in that thing?
She's made some really wicked stops over there in the pitching circle, being able to preserve one there. And probably a smart play. She probably could have gotten the out at first, but good situational awareness, knowing that this is a good chance to at least preserve possibly a run scoring if there were a wild pitch, something like that. So Eve Jordan reaches out for a fielder's choice.
She knows where to go with the ball every time. I mean, she really is impressive out there defensively. As we're back to the top, and Kate Lodge, she takes ball 1-0. So it's a fielder's choice for Jordan. So again, doesn't go down as a hit. Great play by Helly, 1-5 on the putout. And Jordan, the runner for Hudger, is now at second base. 2 outs. In an 8-7 game, the Gales want to keep it right there so their offense can try to get the 1 run they need to tie the game up and force Clarksville to have to bat. It is 2-0 now to Lodge, who is 2 for 3, a single, a run scored in the first, a walk in the second, a 2-run double in the third, and then reaching on an error in the fifth.
Just to recap what we saw yesterday, Fort Dodge St. Edmond had a 4-2 lead over Clarksville going into the 6th inning, into the bottom of the 6th. Then 3 runs by Clarksville gave them the lead.
Lodge through the hole on the right side. There's a hit. They are going to send Jordan from second. The throw bounces in, not in time. And an insurance run crosses the plate. Good base running by Jordan. Good aggressive send by Katie Berman in the third base coach's box. And get another RBI to the freshman catcher, Kate Lodge.
Kate Lodge has been on base all 5 times that she's come to the plate today. Single there, reach on an error last time. Had a double the time before that, a walk, and a single. Kate Lodge just knows how to get on base. What a weekend from her.
You don't see a lot of catchers leading off at any level. And, man, she's just so athletic. She's got such a good bat, and she's just a freshman.
Had 4 hits the other day in that game against North Butler. 4 for 8. She had 3 doubles in that game and 1 RBI. Today, 1 double. Gosh, so 4 doubles this weekend for Kate Lodge.
8th grader Reagan Wedeking takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Wedeking moved from left field to center, and we didn't talk about really the impact that this would have, but as soon as she gets out there in center field, on the first pitch, a ball is hit toward her in right center field. She fields it off the wall, makes a perfect throw to get Sherbrun trying to take second on what she thought was a double. It's a hard hit ground ball. Myers tried to pick it up and go to second. There's no chance. That's got to be it. I would think a hit.
That feels like a single. Yeah, that was a well-hit ball.
I don't know how you could rule that an error, but she couldn't quite get it and run over to second and get the force on Lodge. And now another insurance run scores.
And now it's going to be a question mark of where Sydney Lovren comes out when we see the top of the 7th inning come up.
Do they trust Bolin?
Do they roll with Bolin? Maybe give her a batter or two, see what she does with 1 or 2 ABs, and then if St. Ed's puts a couple of runners aboard, maybe you bring in Sydney Lovren, but
yeah, we'll see.
Maybe just put it in Lovren's hand and let your star send you to the championship game.
Hannah Wangsness now, who started this inning, will bat again. 10th batter of the inning, takes a ball 1-0. So, they're putting the bat on the ball, and they're putting it where they ain't. And even in that situation at short, Myers, that's just a tattooed ball that she's trying to get down. And you're seeing some of the imperfections on the dirt as the base paths keep getting run on. And this ball is just taking some weird hops. 1-1 the count. When you get late in games, it just gets worse and worse with all the foot traffic out there. So Clarksville taking full advantage, and they have opened up a 10-7 lead here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. The 1-1 to Wangsness. Off the edge of the outside corner, it is 2-1. She started this inning with a single up the middle and scored a run to start this rally. 5 have crossed the plate so far, and there are 2 runners still on at first and second. The 2-1 from Helly on the way. Hard hit through the whole left side, another hit from Wangsness. They're going to hold the runner at third, and they are loaded for Kara Bolin.
How about 2 singles in a single inning for Hannah Wangsness? She's been so good this tournament. 2 runs scored today. Started the last inning, finding that rally for Clarksville, and now a second hit in an inning. And here's Kara Bolin stepping to the plate. She, too, has a single today. She walked, reached base a couple times, scored a run in the earlier part of this 6th inning.
Now she bats with the bases loaded and a chance to really break it open. First pitch to her is low, 1-0. And for Torrin Helly, it's just like you're just trying to find a way, but they are hitting the ball well. These are not cheapies that they are getting on her here. And there's really nowhere to go for the pitching staff for the Gales. They're really just needing their star pitcher, their sophomore, to try to get that last out to get the bats up there. Is this ball a little looper in the left? That'll drop. 1 is in. A second run being waved around. She will score without a throw. A 2-run single by Kara Bolin. And the hits keep on coming for Clarksville.
You got to wonder right now, we're seeing the reason why Fort Dodge St. Ed's coach Bill Sherbrun started this game with Rihanna Myers in the pitching circle, because Helly, as great as she has been all year, she is young. She is just a sophomore. Can a sophomore pitch and throw so many pitches over the course of just 3 days?
And see the same team twice in 2 days, and having pitched a game in between somehow, right? I mean, all of those I think are major factors. Is Lovren back up there? Sydney Lovren fouled it straight back 0-1.
This could be a pretty premature ruling, but if Sydney Lovren were to hit a home run here, the game would be over. Because we got a 5-run game now. A home run would make it an 8-run game, so it would be over by the mercy rule.
Well,
that's asking a lot. Sydney Lovren has hit a home run at this tournament this week, but that's kind of the situation we're facing here.
0-1. That's a called strike off the outside corner. 0-2. 7 in the frame have scored. They were down 2 coming in to this inning for Clarksville.
Wow.
This is the 12th batter of the inning. And they have now a 5-run lead with 2 runners still on and 2 outs. The 0-2. That's up high.
2 batters with 2 hits in a single inning. Sydney Lovren, one of the few players who has not hit or scored a run in this 6th inning.
She was the only batter first time through the order this inning that didn't get on base, and she hadn't been retired before that. The 1-2. That's blown away. 2-2 the count. Now it'll be interesting to see if we do get to the top of the 7th here. If the run rule is not reached, then the Gales would come up with 8, 9, and 1 in the order. 2-2. Fouled straight back.
Big cut by Sydney Lovren. Maybe she knew, hey, let's not think about anybody going out there and throwing any more pitches. Let's see if we can park one past the left field wall over the green monster.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 on for Clarksville in this 6th inning. Helly sets in another 2-2. That's outside. Lovren has worked it full. She's already walked twice, but both of those were against the starting pitcher, Rihanna Myers. They've seen a lot of Helly the last couple of days, and this offense seems like they have figured her out. But Helly trying to limit it to what it is already, just needing 1 more strike, 1 more out. A payoff on the way from the righty. That's popped up, playable, shallow left. Myers drifting back, makes the catch to retire the side. Good job to stick into it. She ended up catching 2 pop-ups from Lovren in that inning. So we will head to the 7th after a 7 spot thrown up by the Indians. St. Edmund needs 5 to keep the game going, and we will see if they can when we return right after this, right here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Clarksville scores 7 in the 6th. I have 7 hits on my score sheet, all of them singles in that inning, but there have been a couple of extra base hits, and I want to note all of our extra base hits in the tournament, in today's game and beyond. Brought to you by Channel Seeds, the enhanced Channel Seed brand, here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. There we go. Emery Sutter, Owen Sebring here with you, and 8-9-1 due up for St. Edmund to try to keep their season alive.
A few notes to make to mention here, at least when we look at the box score. Fort Dodge St. Ed's does have the advantage in hits today, 14-11, but they've also had more errors, 4-3. There's 3 errors by the Clarksville defense. First pitch in there for a strike from Brooke Bolin, who does remain in the circle. We'd had some discussions about, do we see Brooke Bolin remain in there? Do you bring in Sydney Lovren just to try to finish thing out? But Bolin so far taking things on. One thing that could at least be a factor if Fort Dodge St. Ed's makes a comeback in this thing is the amount of runners that have been left on base by both sides. Fort Dodge St. Edmund has left 9 runners aboard. Clarksville has left 11 aboard. A couple times they've left the bases loaded. Last inning had 2 left aboard. That one swung on right back down to the plate, so a quick 1-2 count as Brooke Bolin tries to finish this thing out and try to get I think this would qualify for a win for Brooke Bolin. Only got 3 of those this season.
Yeah. 1 and 2 here to Grace Crimmins, batting in the 8th spot. She's bat twice already. It's 2 and 2 to her as well. She did single with an RBI last time up and would eventually score a run in what was a busy 5th inning for the Gales. They would score 3 runs and take the lead at the time. As now it's full 2 or 3 and 2, and that's what you want. If you can get your leadoff batter on here, especially in the lower portion of this order, and then the top of the order, and all of the talent and power this Gales team has there, I mean, anything can happen. Popped out into center, and basically right at Wedeking, who really didn't have to move at all. Hang with him there for Crimmins, got a good lick on it, did the 8th grader, but it lines right at the center fielder for the first out.
Yeah, that's what you like to see. We've seen a lot of putouts there in center field. Most of those have been by Bolin, but since she moved to pitcher, now we've got the other center fielder out there who is Reagan Wedeking.
And she's got an assist out there in center, and now, able to make a play on a line drive hit right at her. What is it about center field in this team?
Man, they know what they're doing. They've just got athletes all around the board.
1-0. The 9-hitter Baylor Ulrich, look out. I think that actually made it into the dugout there. Hopefully everybody's all right. That one hooked by Baylor Ulrich on the screws, and it kind of found its way into the dugout door. Looks like everybody's all right in that Clarksville dugout. 1-1. Baylor Ulrich doubled with 2 RBIs in the second. Now lines this one high and deep to left. It's gone. Baylor Ulrich, the 8th grader, hits a solo shot in the 9-hole. And we are not done yet.
A lot more to be said from this game. Baylor Ulrich, the 8th grader coming in. We've got to go bound to check her stats. She was the one that we wondered if they even had her stats there. So pardon me while I work over there on my laptop. But
and there is a Channel Seeds extra base hit right on cue for you there. And that sets up the top of this order with just 1 out.
2nd home run of the season. She had 16 RBI coming in and 82 at bat. Or excuse me, I'm looking at Brecken Ulrich's stats here. Baylor Ulrich, that is her. Well, that's the same thing. Also her 2nd home run of the season and 41 at bats.
1-0 here to Vandy. By the way, 3 RBIs in the game now for Baylor Ulrich in that 9-hole. See, Bolin still has a 4-run cushion to work with, facing Ella Vandy, the freshman leadoff batter. 2-0 the count. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you combine the 2 9-hitters in this game, 5 runs scored between the 2 teams.
Wow. 2-0. Ground ball, foul down third base line. That is the other 9-hitter over there at third, and Eve Jordan, who was trying to field that one. 2-1 here to Vandy, who's hit the ball well. A couple of singles and a couple of flyouts to center.
Seen some clutch hitting and some precarious situations this week. Just more of it there from Baylor Ulrich.
That's inside, 3-1. And we'll see, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but if you get another base runner or two and all of a sudden the tying run starts to loom, you wonder if Lovren's going to get called back into the circle. There's a 5-pitch walk to Vandy, and she is aboard.
Especially when you have somebody out there in Clarksville with Brooke Bolin, who is as good as she's been in the outfield, just not a lot of action this entire season, not even within 100 innings pitched of Sydney Lovren. Only 24 innings pitched thrown the entire year in 7 appearances. Just 21 strikeouts thrown. 3-0 record.
Here's Schlins, and her first pitch is going to one-up the fence. So she's going to have potentially an extra base hit. Yeah, she does slide into second base safely. So on the first pitch, Schlins, that's her 3rd hit in a row. And now the tying run is in the on-deck circle, and Katie Berman's going to come out and at least talk. She kind of looks out there, and now she's calling Lovren in.
There she is coming
back.
back.
There it is. So right on cue, they're not going to mess around. Lovren, and this, I think the reason that makes this an easier call is if you are able to get the last 3 outs. She doesn't have to pitch again tonight.
Yep.
So we'll get that substitution for you as the pitching change and likely outfield adjustments that we'll remake. We'll do that coming back after this on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Brooke Bolin exits in the circle, will retake her spot in center field. So Wedeking goes back to left, Lovren back into the circle. So it is basically the starting lineup once again for Clarksville. Reagan Wedeking in left, Brooke Bolin in center, Micah Hall in right. And you have Sydney Lovren, who will now
re-enter and
re-enter. Sorry, they were talking to the stew-up hitter, which is Faith Sherbrun, which is a very dangerous batter here with runners on second and third to set the table here for you. The tying run is still in the on-deck circle, but the Gales threatening already here off of Bolin. Bolin 1 1/3 innings of work, by the way. Did give up 4 hits in that action, and she's still on the hook for the 2 runners that are out there right now.
And here comes Faith Sherbrun, who's got 3 hits already today. Last time up, had that hard hit ball into right center field that ended up getting her thrown out at second base as she tried to stretch it to a double.
Lovren, this ball kicks away, and they're going to retreat and will not make a throw. So they almost had Schlins was basically at third base, but she goes all the way back to second. But we know in softball, you don't even want to make that throw, even if somebody's covering, and then the runner from third eventually does score. But we've seen a lot of true bounces off the backstop there, as that one made it all the way back there.
Yeah, that was a close one. You never know. They probably had enough time to get her at second, but just still a dangerous scenario to make that throw and risk it going into the outfield, which would probably result in that runner then coming home to
and you might not get the out anyway, right? Yeah. So 2-0 the count to Sherbrun. She lines this in the right. It's down for a hit. One will score. They will hold the runner at third in Schlins, and now the tying run will come to the plate.
Well, here we go. We thought that Clarksville had the clutch gene, and they definitely needed to pad that lead as much as they need to. Had 7 runs there in the bottom of the 6th, but right away now we've got Fort Dodge St. Edmund back after scoring 2 runs. It's now 12-9.
Runners on the corners. Sherbrun will take second. First pitch a strike to Rihanna Myers.
That's her 3rd stolen base of the game.
So now you got second and third. Both of those runners, they matter, but they don't really matter. The run that matters is the tying run at the plate in Myers. And she hammers it in the left, way back, and gone! Rihanna Myers hits a 3-run bomb, and we are tied at 12. My goodness gracious, we have seen it all.
That'll be home run number 7 on the year for Rihanna Myers. She's had a big week here.
There was no doubt
in the
about
circle.
That one.
Oh my goodness! Actually, no, her 8th home run of the season because she had the walk-off home run that ended up ending things the other day against Remsen St. Mary's. So her 2nd home run of the week.
Holy cow. First pitch misses for a ball. Or rather, it's 1-1 here to Jade Rock.
This is kind of why I thought about maybe just moving Lovren over to pitcher just to start this inning off, because it's not just about the batters that did reach base, but just the momentum. Once a couple runners get aboard for Fort Dodge St. Edmund, you're already kind of behind the 8 ball, and then bad things tend to happen. As if you're a Clarksville fan, that was a bad thing to happen.
There's a strike. It's 2-1 to Jade Rock, now facing Lovren again. Singled off of her back in the 5th. Oh, man. So the Sherbrun single, and then Myers comes up and hits a no-doubt 3-run shot as there's a swing and a foul tip into the mitt of Lodge by Rock. And for Clarksville, they will bat no matter what.
Yep.
So they are the home team. But what a job at the top of the order. And give credit to the 9-hitter Baylor Ulrich for her home run to kind of kickstart the rally. And there's strike 3 at the knees as Rock goes down looking. That is just the 3rd strikeout of the game for Lovren. And now Brecken Ulrich will bat. The freshman 1 for 3, a double, a single, 2 for 3, a walk with the bases loaded back in the 3rd. Takes a ball there, 1-0.
You certainly would like some insurance here if you're Fort Dodge St. Edmund, because we've seen Clarksville come back multiple times.
Well, and this is the other thing here too, is the 1-0 on the way inside 2-0. We know the Clarksville offense was really humming against Helly.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be Brooke Bolin, the Micah Hall spot, and then Gia Hudger due up. As there's a strike. 2-1. And they would just need 1 in this scenario to walk it off.
There's nobody that wants to see extra innings less than Sydney Lovren after the amount of softball that she's played this week.
Popped up. This is in the shallow center. Bolin now will just stand pat and make the catch. They do get out of it with it still tied, but a 5 spot with a big blow, a 3-run homer by Rihanna Myers. And we head to the bottom of the 7th, 12-12. We'll be back with the bottom half. Clarksville looks to win it next on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
If you grill it, he will come.
Hey.
Is this heaven?
Nope. It's fairway.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Clarksville will bat with a 12-12 game. My goodness, 5 runs by St. Edmund, highlighted by home runs by Baylor Ulrich and freshman Rihanna Myers. What a player she's going to be. Can pitch, play shortstop, and then you see what she can do at the plate. A huge 3-run bomb tied the game, and we're in the bottom of the 7th with Brooke Bolin to lead it off for Clarksville. Just needing 1 run to end it. First pitch swing and popped it up. Myers calls for it, drifting toward the line. Makes the catch, 1 pitch, 1 out.
2 straight putouts there for Myers, who had the final out of the last inning. One of our production crew mentioned that that's about the longest hit ball he's seen this week by a long shot. You see, if you can look over in left field, there's a tree that sits above the green monster, and it cleared that tree by a lot.
Yeah. I mean, that was the first homer we've seen that there really was no doubt off the bat.
Not nary a doubt about that one. Holy smokes.
All right, here is the first pitch to Micah Hall, who's back into this spot taking a strike. Hall was hit for by Cabry Lovren last inning in the 6th, but she re-entered to play right field and now will hit for herself. The 0-1 from Helly, who is trying to battle back after got knocked around quite a bit and gave up 7 runs last inning, still out there as Hall fouls this one off, and she's in the hole 0-2.
We've talked about the lack of depth in terms of power hitters in the Clarksville lineup. Not a lot of home runs hit this season. Brooke Boland's got 3 of them. Kara Boland's got a couple. A few players on the lineup have 2 home runs this season, but that's just not where they win a lot of games. We've seen a lot of well-hit balls this week, either up the middle or placing it to one side or the other, but the home run ball is just not something that we see out of Clarksville. So walk-off home run, unlikely. Not
and
impossible,
but now that you say that,
let's see if we can make some magic here in the bottom of the lineup.
1-2 now to Micah Hall. She's 0 for 3, popped to third in the first, reached on an error and scored in the third, and then grounded to third in the fourth.
So much depth in the bottom of this lineup. 5 runs scored between the 7, 8, 9 hitters for Clarksville.
Here's the 1-2. Ground ball, right side. Another horrible hop. My goodness, they will get it to first in time. Make it 3-4. What a job by Vandy, doing her job and covering first. Again, I don't want to play on this infield. Did you see how that thing just like popped up and almost looked like it bit Ulrich over there at first base?
Yeah, and she's lucky that it was just right in that spot right by first base, but because she did still have enough time to recover it. Good job by the second baseman for St. Edmund, Ella Vandy, coming over and making sure that she covered first base so they could still secure the out.
2 outs, nobody on here for Gia Hudger, who is 2 for 3. And she pops this one foul out of play, 0-1. Hudger singled 2 RBIs in the 6th inning, which was the game that gave them the lead.
Yes.
Last inning. And then she was run for by Bailey Jordan, who also scores part of that 7-run frame in the 6th.
She's 2 for 3 today, had a 2 for 3 day yesterday against St. Edmund. What can she do today in the 7th?
Ground ball through the whole left side, a base hit. How about another hit for the 8-hitter Gia Hudger? Now we'll see if they want to run for her here. She's a designated player, and if she is replaced by Jordan again, she cannot come back in. It looks like she's going to run for herself.
Yep.
So, and keep an eye on that because Hudger not the fastest runner in this Clarksville order, although they're not really aggressive on the base paths anyway.
Yeah. Eva Jordan coming to the plate now, who we have mentioned before. 14-game hit streak coming in, still waiting for her first hit of the game. She's reached twice today, 2 fielder's choices. She's got on base and scored 2 runs, but still has yet to get a base hit today. Now is a better time than any to get it.
First pitch, she takes with a check swing, 1-0. 2 outs still in the frame for Helly and this defense for the Gales. Have to remind you, 1 run would end it for Clarksville and put them in the championship game against Edgewood-Colesburg on Friday. 1-0 count. Helly sets and fires. That is up and away. 2-0.
Well, I don't know the approach here. If you're Helly, do you continue to pitch around? I don't know if you want to do that with a 9-hitter because coming up is Kate Lodge, who's
you got to go after
already got, 3 hits today, including a double. Got to go after every single batter you see.
2-0, and that's inside. She's also worked a lot. She's worked hard. She didn't pitch the whole game earlier today against Remsen St. Mary's, and she didn't start this game, but she's been out there a long time throwing a lot of pitches, getting closer to kind of the 90-pitch range right now today.
If we see one more game today, it could be another high-scoring one with the amount of work that both these teams' pitching staffs have had to go through.
3-0. There's a strike. See if Eve Jordan can keep the inning alive for the Kate Lodge in the top of the order here. Hoodger the runner at first. Here is the 3-1. Inside and low, ball 4. Lodge will get a shot here with a runner on second, the game-winning run on second, and 2 outs.
Well, I mentioned it probably at least 6 times the other night when we had the 15-inning game for Clarksville that last year at the state tournament, Kate Lodge did have a walk-off hit in the quarterfinal round that sent them to the semis. Announcer's jinx, reverse announcer's jinx, however you want to play it. Kate Lodge, she can hit well, though.
Here's the pitch. Hit it, foul. Just foul.
That was going to be a close one coming down the third base line.
Sherbrun couldn't get a glove on it, so it is foul. Lodge is 3 for 4 with a walk, a double, an RBI, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored in this game.
And she's reached on an error, so she's reached all 5 times she's been at the plate today.
Yep. Helly delivers. Lodge swings back to Helly on the hop to first in time, and we will play 8. Wow, what a job by both teams and their comebacks in this game, but 7 isn't enough. We'll come back with more after this on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
If you grill it, he will come.
Hey.
Is this heaven?
Nope. It's fairway.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
And we're back with the semifinal round of the Class 1A state tournament between Clarksville and St. Edmund. We're hitting extra innings again. To the 8th we go, and we have a new pitcher again for Clarksville. After Sydney Lovren started the game, Brooke Bolin came in the 6th inning. Then in 7th, Sydney Lovren came back in. But now, as we start the 8th inning, it's going to be 8th grader Reagan Wedeking coming into the circle. Reagan so far today has played left field, then center field, then left field again, and now she enters the pitching circle to try to face this Fort Dodge St. Edmund order again. First up for the Gales in the top of the 8th inning, it's going to be number 2, Greenlee Crimmins. Greenlee steps to the plate, trying to start a little bit of magic for the Gales. Fort Dodge St. Edmund came back in this game. As we see, swing and a miss to make the count 1-1. St. Edmund scored 5 runs in the top of the 7th inning to tie the game at 12. Clarksville put 2 runners on, but left them stranded as now we go to the 8th inning. Extra innings again for Clarksville, who started this week with a 15-inning win. Bunt attempt goes down, and fouled back, so it's a 1-2 count early on her as Reagan Wedeking tries to record an early out. She's going to face the bottom 3 batters in the Gales order, Greenlee Crimmins, and then her sister, Grace Crimmins, coming up, and Bailey Ulrich likely to be up after that unless we see any more substitutions, which we have seen plenty of them this week. Clarksville with their second extra inning game of the week. First game that my partner Emery Songer and I called this weekend was a 15-inning game that they ended up winning against North Butler. This pitch in there just misses on the outside for a ball, so the count run to 2-2. St. Edmund trying to channel some magic again. We've seen so many lead changes in this game after Clarksville had the 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first. This pitch swung on and hit foul again. So we had a lead change in the top of the second when St. Ed's took the lead. Had another lead change in the bottom of the third. And then another one in the bottom of the sixth, and then another one in the top of the seventh. And back and forth we go between the Gales and the Indians. Clarksville could clinch a spot in the state championship game with a win here. The 2-2 pitch in there, swung on and popped up down the third base line and caught by the third baseman for Clarksville, Eve Jordan, with a catch to record an early out for the Indians.
All right. Pretty interesting turn of events. I don't know how often I've seen 7 in one inning and then 5 immediately after that to keep a game alive. But we've seen everything else in the 1A state tournament so far. Why not? As this popped out into shallow right, and it's going to drop for Grace Crimmins. And she gets the single. So Crimmins gets the single. Wedeking in the circle. I mean, you're asking a lot of these players who haven't pitched a whole lot, but you can't ask Lovren to now all of a sudden try to finish this game also. Who knows how long this could end up going.
Yeah.
And then have to potentially pitch again tonight, which I'm not even sure how much he would be able to do.
Yeah. I think we're having some substitution questions again now for Dodge St. Edmund, who has substituted a countless amount of players at this point in the game.
Well, and this is the DP spot, technically, I think, or it was at least. This is where Myra Lemon started the game. Grace Crimmins Grace Crimmins has batted 4 times in this spot, and now we get officially the change. And the change. Another Grace.
Grace Schlegel.
Grace
a
Schlegel.
freshman. Numberless in the program, but wearing number 22 out there today. She scored 5 runs this year.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single at bat.
It's popped up foul, out of play. So all of the defensive changes have made this game incredibly difficult to follow. Baylor Ulrich is the catcher in the 9-hole. That spot has not changed at all. And she hit a solo home run last time up in the 7th to start that rally, as that's up and in, 1-2.
I don't envy the one to put together the final box score for this game, because the amount of substitutions have made this just a statistician's nightmare.
Right. So it's crazy. It's 1-2. Bottom line is, on my book, this is how I have it. The Myra Lemon spot, she started at shortstop. It has since moved around to where the DP is playing first base. The player in the 8-hole, which was Grace Crimmins, was not playing defense. And now that player is 22, Grace Schlegel. So that's what we got for you.
Boy, this has been, I mean, with a 12-12 score, you kind of expect stats like this, but every single part of the St. Edmunds lineup, you can't really say the starters because there's been so many substitutions, but there's been a run scored out of 1 through 9 hitters.
That's high. It's 3-2. And Reagan Wedeking, I mean, what do you tell her when she goes out there? It's like, all right, go get him.
Yeah. Okay, 8th grader, go out and see what you can do against one of the best teams in the state.
Here's the 3-2. Popped up, playable. Who is it? Lodge. Barely moved and makes the catch in the right-handed batter's box for the second out.
And this is where you could run into trouble for Dodge St. Edmunds. Such a dangerous top 4-5 batters in the lineup. This is where it's going to get tough for the 8th grader, Reagan Wedeking, facing some of the best in the state.
Ella Vandy at the plate. Wedeking, just the 5 appearances, 8 2/3 innings coming into this state tournament. Just trying to spell her starter, Sydney Lovren, and Brooke Boland came in for an inning and a third. Did all right, but then started getting touched up there in the 7th. She didn't come back in, so it's up to Wedeking to try to keep a 0 on the scoreboard. As it's 1-1 here to Vandy, who walked and scored in that 7th inning. Came home on a Faith Sherbrun single. The 1-1. That's hit high and deep into left. That's over Lovren's head and off the wall. Runner on the way to third. They're going to hold her there. What a throw from the left field wall by Lovren. But runners on second and third, and Sophia Schlins, who has 3 hits in a row, is going to come to the plate.
Good play there by Lovren out in the field. She's just getting used to that left field green monster situation they have there. If the fence was any shorter, that might have been a home run, but Lovren plays it well and prevents a run from scoring. A little bit slower throw might have allowed the Gales runner to score on that one, but limits it here and at least puts Clarksville in position to preserve it and possibly get out of this top half of the inning unscathed.
Extra base hits, by the way, brought to you by Channel Seeds. As this hit in the air, high and to right, and caught by Micah Hall. They strand a pair in scoring position. Clarksville will have a chance to walk it off when we come back right after this on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Clarksville has another shot to try to end it here. 2, 3, and 4 due up in the order. 2 runners in scoring position left on. We were just marveling at what the team score line looks like in this one as we now hit the bottom of the 8th inning. Clarksville has left a runner on base, at least one, in every inning so far, 13 in all over 7 innings. And then on the other side, 11 left on for St. Edmund, including the 2 in scoring position here in the top of the 8th. And that's on top of 20 hits on the scoreboard for St. Edmund, whereas Clarksville, well, they're in double figures. They're nowhere close to 20. By my count, they have 12.
12 is right. Yep, that's what the official scorecast box score says. 20-12, 32 combined hits between these games. Boy, Emery, you and myself have seen a lot of runs scored this week, and we didn't even call the 21-8 game the other day, but we've seen a lot of runs scored this week.
Yeah, what a tournament this has been. It's just had a little bit of everything in almost all of the games. As the first pitch to Wedeking, a line drive to center, right at Schlins. Hang with them there for Wedeking for out number 1.
Wangsness. She's one of the players on this lineup that's got 2 home runs this season, the RBI queen for Clarksville High School. Just somebody trying to start something here. Clarksville, who's come back so many times this weekend when they've been down, never out of a single game. Can they do it again and score another walk-off today?
1 out, nobody on. Wangsness takes ball 1 inside. Wangsness flew out to left to start the game. It was a deep fly ball that Jade Rock made a nice play running toward that green wall. But after that, 4-pitch walk and a run scored, single and a run scored, and another single. So she has not been retired since.
Had 2 singles in that big 6th inning for Clarksville when they scored 7 runs.
1-0-2 are here from Helly. Strike on the outside corner, 1-1.
This is maybe the player that has been seeing the ball well enough that you can kind of pitch around if you're Torrin Helly. There's not a lot of those players in this lineup. You don't want to put anybody on base at this point, but she's one you kind of want to avoid with how well she sees the ball.
The pitch. Wangsness flops this out in foul territory, uncatchable in the first base side, and it's 1-2. I got to tell you, man, it's been fun doing these games with you. This is our 6th one that we've done this week, and we haven't had a lot of routine games here. I got to tell you, it's been something crazy.
Can't hardly think of any game that is just look like your everyday average softball game. We've had a little bit of everything this week.
This is popped up on the infield. Myers tracking into the grass in left, makes the catch for the second out. And now it's Kara Bolin. Bolin 2 for 4, a walk, a ground out to first, a ground out to the pitcher, and then 2 singles in that 6th inning, a run scored and 2 RBIs.
Bolin, somebody else who's been great today at the plate. 2 singles win again. Clarksville had that 7-run 6th inning. Bolin is reliable.
The pitch, she fouls it straight down off of herself, 0-1. And that's the thing, right? So you look at the score line, not a lot of zeros, no 1-2-3 inning for anybody. Even the very rare innings where we haven't seen a hit, there hasn't been a 1-2-3. Could this be the first one? The 0-1, and this is a line drive left center field. It's going to get down, and it's going to the wall. Bolin hesitates around first, but she'll cruise on into second standing up, and she represents the winning run with a double. 3 straight hits for her the last couple of innings, and now she is out there for Sydney Lovren, who is going to try to deliver the game-winning hit for the Indians.
Sydney Lovren had a home run the other day, did she not? I believe she hit a home run against North Butler, one of the few that we've seen Clarksville hit this year, so she's got power potential. Actually, the only spot in the lineup that has not scored a run today is this 5 spot between Sydney Lovren and Emerson Miller, who's been the courtesy runner for Lovren all day. Probably wouldn't need a courtesy runner here because any base hit is probably going to end this thing.
Yeah, we'll see. Helly going to try to keep the game alive. That's outside. 1-0. Yeah, she's seen plenty of Helly the last couple of days. At the plate has Lovren. Since she came on in relief, 1 for 3, but really worked her with the 7-pitch at bat last time up before popping out to short. The 1-0. Way high, it's 2-0. If you're looking ahead, Brooke Bolin is the on-deck hitter. So Kara at second. Brooke Bolin on deck. Lovren the hitter in between. 2-0. 2 outs. The Gales just 1 out away from forcing another extra inning. Here is the 2-0. And that's low, 3-0. Now, first base is open. The run that matters is at second. Do you not mess around here with Lovren and take your chances with Brooke Bolin?
I think that might be the play that they're going with here. None of those balls look like they were anywhere even particularly close to the strike zone.
We'll see if she's got the green light on 3-0. She does not, and it's a strike on the very outside edge of the outside corner. I mean, if you're dancing around the edges there, you can try to get her, but at the same time, I think I'm with Lovren there. I'm just going to make sure there's a strike thrown before I start swinging.
Yeah.
3-1 on the way. Ground ball through the whole left side. Fielded. Bolin is going to be held at third.
Boy, and she would have scored there if she went because the relay throw from left field was tipped off of the shortstop's glove, so that would have scored Bolin from third base if she would have gone. But if you're coach
again,
there, you kind of got to hold her up.
Katie Berman was like, she got to it. Jade Rock got it to the ball too quickly in left field, and she made the call to stop her before the throw came in.
Yeah.
But yeah, if she gets sent, knowing what we know now, she would have scored standing up.
Yeah.
This will be a pinch runner here for Lovren, and it will be Emerson Miller. So that, because she's not pitching, that is technically a pinch runner, but that has not happened yet for her, so she could still technically use her re-entry if we do play another inning.
Not that base runner is particularly important. It's the runner at third. The only one that matters right here with Brooke Bolin at the plate.
A base hit wins it for Clarksville and sends them to the championship game. Helly to face Bolin. The first pitch fouled off, 0-1. Bolin in this game since Helly came in, sacrificed fly to center for an RBI in the 4th, reached on an error in that big 6th inning and scored a run, and then popped out to shortstop last inning. Base hit is all she needs. Keep an eye on also the catcher, Baylor Ulrich, because a wild pitch or a pass ball could also score that run from third. The 0-1. That's popped up, left side infield. Sherbrun, we head to the 9th. How about Helly working through the last couple of innings after giving up 7 a couple of innings ago? 12-12. We will head to the 9th after this on the Girls Union Network powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Excuse me, man. You dropped this.
All right, trying to make sense of everything that we have seen to this point, and Reagan Wedeking again being asked now to deal with the very dangerous middle part of the order for St. Edmund. The inexperienced young 8th grade pitcher will face Faith Sherburne, one of the best hitters in all of high school softball in Iowa, to start off this 9th inning. And the first pitch is lifted out into left center field. A long run, tracking, looking up off the fence. That was about as close as it gets to being a home run without actually being a home run. Sherburne drives it to the wall for a double. She improves to 5 for 5 and now represents the go-ahead run for Rihanna Myers, who all she did last time was hit the farthest ball we have seen hit in this 1A state tournament with an absolute bomb, and she's not going to get a chance to swing. 4-pitch. Well, I mean, it's an intentional walk. They don't have to throw the pitches anymore. But she looks at the St. Edmund fans and claps and smiles and walks down to first. They were not going to mess with her in this situation.
Not even close. Boy, if you're Faith Sherburne, how do you like 6 times that she's reached base today? Walk, single, 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 double. Gosh, that girl does a little bit of everything. Doing nothing but improving that batting average today.
Jade Rock now bats with runners on first and second and nobody out. First pitch, a strike, 0-1.
She really figured out this Clarksville team after Sherburne went 0 for 3 against Clarksville yesterday. How about 5 for 5 today?
Pitch to Rock. She shows bunt, pulls back, and now they're going to run Sherburne back to second. 1-1 the count. Jade Rock, 2 for 5, an infield hit, and a single and a run scored in the 5th inning. The box score is looking eerily similar to that crazy game that Clarksville had to play on Monday against North Butler, which went 15 innings, and they were eventually able to pull out. Good bunt, third base, Jordan. She'll throw to first in time to get the out. And that's a successful 5-3 sacrifice.
Smart play there. Don't mess around with looking back at third or anything like that. Just go ahead and get your easy out. At least put 1 on the board for your defense to work with.
Keep in mind, if St. Edmund wins this game, these two teams will play again tonight, with the winner going to the championship game. This is out to center. Caught! What a catch in center! Bolin! Oh, my! Doctor!
Depending on what we see with the next couple batters and what Clarksville does, you could look at that as possibly, in the future, could be a game-saving catch there by getting at the shoestrings. That easily scores 2 runs, and you probably get Ulrich over to second, if not third base there. Unbelievable catch in center field.
Brooke Bolin's been a star in center. She did commit an error earlier in this game, overrunning a ball, and then was a part of a relay to cut down a run on the same play. Other than that, she's been flawless out there. How important is it that she's out there when that ball's hit? Because that looked like that was going to get down all the way. She runs in, makes a shoestring catch, and because it happened so fast, nobody could tag up in advance. So Sherburne stays at third base.
Almost fortunate that St. Ed's was smart there and not getting too far off the bag. The ball looks so well hit, I thought that the runners might take off, but which would have resulted in double play probably at second base, but they didn't go very far. Smart on the base runners to stay where they were.
Yeah, Brecken Ulrich hit that ball perfectly, just in the wrong spot. Strike 1 to Greenlee Crimmins. Again, this is one of those things with these lefty slap hitters. You have to be so quick on a ground ball to try to get them at first base with 2 outs and trying to end this inning with the go-ahead run at third. Crimmins shows bunt, lays it down. It's fair, tough play. And Lodge, oh, so smart, picks it up and runs back to home so Sherbrun couldn't score. Infield hit for Crimmins, no advancement from the players on base. And now it will be the 8th spot.
This is Olivia Andrew. We're seeing her for the first time today.
Because remember, Grace Crimmins was pulled out for a runner last inning.
So this is a sophomore who's batting just 143 this season, 28 at bats. She has 4 hits, at least coming into the state tournament. Somebody who hasn't seen a lot of action. She's coming up with the bases loaded. Base hit, walk, whatever you want. Anything's going to give St. Edmund the lead.
She bats here in a spot in the order that Grace Crimmins had 2 hits when she was doing it. The first pitch is inside. There's nowhere to put her, so this is the other thing they have to wonder, and I'm sure Bill Sherbrun's talked to her about this when he just met with her before she got in the box. A walk works too.
Yep.
1-0 on the way. There's a strike. Wedeking's been solid. I know she's dealing with some traffic right now. The hit by Sherbrun kind of set the table, but she's been good so far, coming back and throwing strikes. She just needs one big out to keep this thing tied to go to the bottom of the 9th. 1-1. Foul ball.
Heck of a spot to put an 8th grader in. Extra innings in the state tournament, knowing that if you win, you go to the state championship game. That is a lot of pressure to put on somebody who hasn't even stepped foot into Clarksville High School yet.
Yeah, that's true. She needs one more strike, though, here to try to get out of this jam. Andrew digs back in. It's 1-2. 2 outs, bases loaded. Tie game in the 9th. Andrew fires. Popped foul off the screen. We will do it again. How many innings can Clarksville play? Is that the challenge? Like, this is the other thing, too, right? They're going to get to bat no matter what, and you can't rule them out because they came back while down against North Butler in extra innings multiple times before winning that game on Monday. 1-2 again. Wedeking toes the rubber and delivers. Swing and a miss. She gets out of the jam, and we stay tied. Clarksville will have another crack at trying to win it in the bottom of the 9th when we come back right here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Life's buzzing with energy. From the delightfully routine, to the novel and exciting, to the truly uncharted. With all that life brings, it's easy to lose track of what powers all those moments, our health. At Mercy One, our caring doctors focus on just that, powering health, from the everyday to the extraordinary. So you're ready for what life brings next. Find care at mercyone.org/healthpowerslife.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision, to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Bottom of the 9th inning, Clarksville a chance to win it again as Micah Hall hits a one-hopper to Sherbrun, 1 pitch, 1 out. And that'll immediately bring up the 8-hitter, Gia Hudger, and then Eve Jordan also due up this inning to face the, I just embattled Torin Helly, who gave up 7 runs in the 6th and only came back to put up a couple of zeros to keep the Gales in it. But what a job by Reagan Wedeking, the 8th grade pitcher, in relief for Clarksville, and gets a strikeout to strand them loaded for St. Edmund to keep this game tied in the 9th.
Yeah, you were just talking during the break how clutch she's been today overall. After she moved over to center field, she had to gun out Sherbrun, who was trying to stretch a single into a double, and then comes into pitch, and it's thrown up 2 scoreless innings so far.
1-0 to Hudger. Helly fires. That just misses, a little outside.
Hudger been as good as anybody today.
Yep.
3 hits already, 3 singles, a couple RBI.
Pretty impressive stuff from the bottom of the order here for Clarksville. It's now just a matter of can they come up with a little bit of a rally here in the 9th and try to win this again. That's fouled off. 2-1. I mean, they could do a movie on the Clarksville tournament to this point. Obviously, you want to see how all of it shakes out, but just the way the North Butler game, the way they came back against St. Edmund last night to steal that game, the way they played this game, the 6th inning when they scored 7 runs and then coughed that lead up. I mean, these 3 games have been insane from them, and they keep coming back. The pitch. Ground ball. That's up the middle for a hit. You can't get this girl out.
Wow.
Gia Hudger.
4th hit of the day, 4 singles. Good for her, man. And Eve Jordan comes to the plate now. I've talked about all game long. Once again, we will mention a 14-game hitting streak coming into the game. Has not got a hit today, though, although she's reached base 3 times on a walk and 2 fielder's choices. So she could continue the hitting streak right here.
And Hudger, we got to keep in mind, again, they like to run for her. Bailey Jordan ran for her earlier, but they don't want to lose her bat if we keep playing. So they don't want to put a faster runner in for her here because they don't want her to not be available later. But she is the potential game-winning run.
With Clarksville's run of the state tournament here, this is reminiscent of another state tournament run that I've seen in my long career watching high school sports. I'll mention that after this pitch.
Ground ball over to second. It's going to go to 2 for 1 and not quite in time. It was bang, bang, but good job by Jordan legging out. How about another fielder's choice for her? It goes 4-6 for the second out. It's a good job by Vandy. We've seen this infield play in some games on those little choppers. She's able to do it. I like the little backhand flip.
Yep.
Myers tried to turn it as fast as she could, but couldn't quite do so. Now it's up to Lodge with the potential game-winning run at first base. And here's your walk-off hero from last year, stepping in with another shot here.
Glad to have you finally be the one to mention Kate Lodge's walk-off hit from last year instead of me, as I've done all weekend and seemingly jinxed her.
Here is a little bloop in the center. It'll drop a base hit. Jordan will hold up at second, but that will bring up who else but Reagan Wedeking for a chance to win the game.
As I've mentioned many times this week, Reagan Wedeking is a clutch hitter. She's the cousin of head coach Katie Berman. 3 hits in the first couple of games this week, and she's had just an outstanding tournament so far. Only 1 hit today, though. Had a sacrifice earlier, had a single in the 6th inning.
Now she's pitching, So
now she's pitching.
Yeah, so now she has a chance to give herself the win in the circle too.
But the other tournament run this reminded me of, I mentioned, was at my alma mater, BCL UW. After my freshman year, BCL, their great softball program there, coached by Dave Lee, went to state. Their first round game went to 15 innings, something we've heard of before.
Oh, yeah.
Second round game, the semis, they beat Missouri Valley in 10 innings. Continue after this pitch.
Wedeking right at Sherbrod, who squeezes it for the out. Robs her of a game-winning hit. And we go to a 10th inning, 12 up. St. Edmund and Clarksville continues to wow and surprise. More on the way after this on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-America Energy Company.
Freedom Tire is proud to support the Iowa Girl through their sponsorship of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. With 6 locations around the metro, you're never far from getting you back or keeping you on the road. Our certified staff and state-of-the-art technology means you can take comfort knowing you've got the best work at the best prices. Give us a try at Freedom Tire, a proud supporter of the IGHSAU.
Emory Songer and Owen Sebring with you with our entire crew here in Fort Dodge at Farm Bureau Field. The Iowa Girls State Softball Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau. 10th inning. St. Edmund facing elimination against the team that put a loss on them yesterday, the Clarksville Indians, and an instant classic has developed in front of us. And it will be 9-1-2 in the St. Edmund order here in the top of the 10th in a 12-12 game. 8th grader Reagan Wedeking misses for ball one against 8th grader catcher Baylor Ulrich for St. Edmund just moments after Wedeking thought she had won the game for Clarksville. As this one popped up left side, long run for the shortstop. Wangsness has it, no problem for the first out. But how about Faith Sherbrun at third base, diving to her left on a shoestring and squeezes it for the out to get him out of the inning.
Yeah, and that's a play that not everybody can make. We've seen another third baseman playing briefly for Fort Dodge St. Ed's. Torrin Helly was over there for a brief moment.
She's also got a sticky glove. That's a strike to Vandy here, 0-1.
Just one of those plays that
you can't hit it harder.
make.
You cannot hit that ball harder.
Yeah, and Sherbrun, as we mentioned, going to play college softball down at Kaiser University down in Florida, one of the best NAIA programs in the country.
Foul ball quickly 0-2 here to Vandy, who doubled last time up back in the 8th inning. So if you're just joining us, it has been a very busy and active offensive game. Both sides have gone through multiple pitchers. There hasn't been a lot of zeros thrown up until we got to extras, oddly enough. I'll continue that recap in a second. This is up in the zone. It is 1-2. 7 runs, down by 2. Clarksville bats in the bottom of the 6th. And for the second straight day, they score multiple runs to take the lead over St. Edmund in the 6th inning. A 7 spot. They're up 12-7. And then immediately St. Edmund scores 5 to tie the game. Is this a one-hopper? Jordan, a nice backhand play. The throw in time. What a play by Jordan at third.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of plays over there doing well at the hot corner. Jordan there, boy, somebody who keeps finding a way to get on base through a fielder's choice. She's got 3 of them where she's reached today, and now it's Schlens back at the plate.
Yeah, and until she flew out to right in the 8th, she had been on a roll of 3 straight hits as well, and she's been aggressive early in at-bats as this is ball 1. And with Sherbrun on deck, you would love, if you're Wedeking in this defense, to get this out and not let Faith Sherbrun take the plate because she is 5 for 5 and has reached all 6 times she's gone to the plate. Jordan knocked down off her leg, so she will not be able to make this play. That'll be a hit. Schlens takes off for second, and she'll get there.
You like a hit on that one, you think?
I mean, it's definitely a hit. The thing that I would say is it's probably to second on the error. But that's a tough one because she really, I don't know.
Right.
I'm going to go single E5. That's tough luck because it shows you the aggressiveness of this team as Sherbrun comes in with a runner on second. First pitch, a strike.
Somebody who has not gotten out at all today.
And has hit the ball really hard basically every time she's come to the plate.
5 hits, 1 walk. Early
Except
strike against her.
Except the walk was a 4-pitch walk. The one time she didn't swing is the only time she didn't hit the ball hard. 1-1 to her. How good has she been, though? I mean, and then the catch over at third.
Yeah. Depending on what happens in the next round, boy, she, even if they don't win the title, you almost think that she's got to be one of the best, if not the MVP of this tournament.
This is lifted into center. Bolin reaches up. It almost got over her head, but they do indeed get her out for the first time in the game, but on another ball that she tattooed just right at the wrong player in center field in Brooke Bolin. So another scoreless frame put up by Wedeking. We go to the bottom of the 10th, and once again a chance in the middle of the order for the Clarksville offense to try to win the ball game. We'll come back with it for you here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
If you grill it, he will come.
Hey.
Hey.
Is this heaven?
Nope. It's fairway.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Hannah Wangsness leads us off in the bottom of the 10th for Clarksville. First pitch on the screws, but right at Sherbrunn. It's a bit of an easier catch than the one she made to end the 9th inning, but still an impressive one. And so one quick out, and the most dangerous batter in the order, and Wangsness is retired. And now Kara Bolin, who has hit 3 straight hits at the plate, she comes up with the bases empty and 1 out here in the bottom of the 10th of a 12-12 game. The pitch. Strike on the outside corner. We were talking in the break about Reagan Wedeking. 8 2/3 innings pitched all season long, being called on in an emergency situation basically to pitch here against a really strong team, the number 3 team in the country, or in the state rather, in 1A. And she has done nothing but throw up 3 zeros to allow her offense a chance to win it. This one popped up. Is a tough spot. Bermuda Triangle. It's a fair ball. Rounding first and then going back to the bag is Bolin. That'll be a blue pit 4 down the line. And she represents the game-winning run yet again, who reaches base. There has not been a 1-2-3 inning for either side the entire game. I have to reiterate that. There's been traffic on the base paths, a ridiculous amount of runners left on, 17 for Clarksville so far.
A combined 32 runners left on base right
15
now.
15 for St. Edmond, as now Vandy, who made that dive, is being checked on. Tried to range over. There's a long run for her. Had no real chance to get the ball, but still dove for it. And it looks like she is going to say that she's okay. Maybe it was an equipment thing. Not exactly sure. Wouldn't want to speculate. Gives the infield a chance to talk to each other without her. And now they will line it back up, and it will be Sydney Lovren, who's thrown close to 500 pitches. Don't have the official number in front of us, but it's been a lot in the first 3 days of this tournament. She will bat with a runner on first and 1 out here in the 10th. She singled last time up for her second hit of the game. As that pitch, a ball 1-0.
If you're Katie Berman, do you think about sending Kara Bolin over to second base on a steal?
No.
Leave her where she is?
Oh, well, it's just because they don't play that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you'd hate to run into an out play in a style that you generally wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how I see it. 1-0. That's up 2-0. A hitter's count for Lovren. And you got to keep in mind, Helly also has had a pretty hefty workload. It's nothing to compare to what Lovren has done, but worked 6 innings in a shutout, 2-hit shutout against Remsen St. Mary's on Monday. But Tuesday faced this team, and then this is her second game of the day. Pitched about half of the game before against Remsen St. Mary's, as this one drops in there for a strike, 2-1.
That's why I just can't imagine if these teams had to play each other again. If
these two
Fort
see
Dodge
each
St.
other.
Ed's
Yeah,
win this thing, to see each other again, boy, again, the pitchers are just going to be gassed at that
Lovren
point.
and Helly, and the batters have seen them so many times, right? You know, like how effective would they be in that situation with their fatigue anyway? The 2-1. And that's off the outside corner, 3-1. Brooke Bolin on deck.
Brooke Bolin, who's been as good as anybody in center field. I think, what did I tell you before this inning? I've counted another, 7, 8 putouts for her today?
8 or 9, something like that. There was a short time where for an inning and a third she wasn't out there in center, but it's just, she's been excellent out there.
So many balls into center field for her.
3-1. And that's outside, ball 4. So Lovren reaches on the walk, which more importantly moves the game-winning run to second. Lovren was courtesy or pinch run for. And now Bolin will bat. We'll see. And they are going to make the change, so Lovren would be done because this is the second time she'll be removed. So that's the end of the game for Lovren.
I suppose the theory here is that you just don't want to run into a double play there on the base paths here with just 1 out.
Yep.
So put somebody with maybe a little bit more speed out there. That's going to be Emerson Miller.
So Miller is out there. Miller ran for her as a courtesy runner when she was pitching, but you don't get the courtesy if you're not pitching anymore. And that's the second time she has been run for since she's reached. So that's it. No more reentry for her.
The most important run of the game there at second base. That's the one that matters
Yep.
now. Anybody scores here, and it's over.
Brooke Bolin, 1-0. The pitch. Ground ball. Sherbrun, she's going to have a force play, and she'll just run and make a tag on the runner there. So no double play. Fielder's choice. That's the smart play made by Sherbrun. She's been so good the last couple of innings at third. 5 unassisted on that one. So we got runners on first and second and 2 outs. And Micah Hall.
Smart play there, too, by Kara Bolin as she was running over, just trying to retreat and extend the play a little bit, because if Faith Sherman gets a quick out, she might be able to throw it over to first and turn a double play. Going to be tough either way with Brooke Bolin's speed, but nevertheless for her to just extend the play a little bit helps save some valuable seconds for Clarksville.
And this is where the Emerson Miller situation comes into play, because now she's the game-winning run at second.
Yep, that's a good point.
And Micah Hall is the batter, the lefty 8th grader. The 1-0, or pardon, I believe this first pitch. That's outside, 1-0. So Micah Hall batted all but once. She was replaced by Cabry Lovren, who pinch hit for her way back in the 6th, in that big 6th inning. They scored 7 runs. But she has batted 5 times in this spot and is 0 for 5. The 1-0. Comes in low, and it's 2-0. So she may be due. And now this is her real first chance to try to win the game with a runner on second base and 2 outs here.
It's an interesting spot for Clarksville, because if she gets aboard, then Gia Hoodger is up next, who has been on fire today. She's been swinging a hotter bat than maybe anybody in Clarksville's lineup today.
2-0 here to Hall, an 8th grader. The pitch. And she fouls it straight down. 2-1 the count. Last couple of times have been ground balls hit by Hall. And as you mentioned, if the inning is extended, Hoodger is exactly, I think, who Clarksville would love to have at the plate with the bases loaded. But got to work your way on base here if you're Hall, even if you can't get the run home from second. The 2-1 on the way. Ground ball. And who else but Helly makes the play. Easy throw to first. And we will play on. The 11th inning on the way. Oh, my. 12-12. So much more yet to come. Who knows when we'll stop here, folks, on Farm Bureau Field on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision, to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Why don't we play an 11th inning? Reagan Wedeking, who has thrown 3 scoreless frames since coming on in relief in a pretty, I would say, desperate situation for a team who still hasn't lost yet here in Clarksville, just needing some innings from someone other than Sydney Lovren.
Well, and I didn't get a chance to finish my thought earlier when I was talking about teams that play a lot of extra innings at the state tournament. My alma mater, BCLEW, I was going to mention there, or at least finish that run that they had, because in the first round they beat EDCO actually in 15 innings. In the semifinals, they beat Missouri Valley 1-0 in 10 innings. And then they lost to Colfax Mingo in 8 innings in the championship game. So just in 3 games they had to play 33 innings, but Clarksville giving them a run for their money with just 3 games played. They played a lot of softball.
First pitch to Rihanna Myers is in there for a strike 0-1 from Wedeking.
She's the one who they intentionally walked last time up, but choosing to pitch to her this time.
Yeah, Wedeking didn't actually throw a pitch to her because there was a runner on second and nobody out. And the reason they intentionally walk her, you might be saying, well, I just tuned in. I saw that this game was going into extras. Well, what was the deal with intentionally walking her? Well, the last time she batted, she hit a bomb. A bomb that was literally, like, off the bat, everyone anywhere close to this field knew was gone. And that tied the game at 12 in the 7th inning. And she hits this one into left center field, and that's going to get by Bowler in center for a single, make it a double as she slides in safely with a leadoff double. Man, she is swinging a good bat.
Yeah, Rihanna Myers, somebody who we saw start the game in the circle, did pretty well for Dodge St. Edmond, at least managing things in those first few innings, trying to keep Clarksville off the board as much as she could. And now, if she couldn't finish the game in the circle, she's going to possibly try to finish at the plate. She has been something else today.
So there's a conversation going on with Bill Sherbrun and the home plate umpire, Tom Schreers, who thankfully we're not 95-degree weather here, but she's been playing. He's been calling balls and strikes and umpiring at home plate. But I saw this, and I didn't want to say anything because I wanted to see if somebody else would say something first.
Okay.
Sydney Lovren came back into the game again, and she is in left field.
Uh-huh.
Now, based on my book and what I know about the rules of high school softball, you can get re-entered once as a position player, but not twice. She has been lifted twice. She would be re-entering twice. And you cannot do that based on how I understand the rules. So I'm wondering if this is what the conversation is there's a discrepancy in how the lineup goes and what that would look like, and then what takes place with Lovren out there in left field.
Well, can you walk us through what's the penalty that happens if it's a defensive situation? It's
well,
not like,
it's not like an out because
right.
she's hitting for herself and it's like the wrong batter in the order or something like that. I mean, the umpires should have basically told them she couldn't re-enter. So now they're going to call Katie Berman to chat. And I'm sure they're going to check on that, but I don't know what a penalty would be. It's not like you can walk off 15 yards here,
I don't know if it's just like a walk that you put a runner on base or, what is the penalty here? Katie Berman.
I mean, she already wasn't going to be allowed to play, so I'm not sure that's even like an applicable penalty. I'm just thinking that the umpires missed it. I think what they needed to do was probably tell her she couldn't go back onto the field.
Uh-huh.
But now that she's out there and a batter hit, this would be, I don't know what you do.
Maybe the batter advances. I really don't know.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it happen before. I've never seen anybody try to re-enter a second time.
I'm going to be surprised or interested to hear what the umpires say because, boy, again, Katie Berman has been around for 12 years with Clarksville, so it would be a
well. Usually, Lovren is pitching, so she's probably not even thinking about it, right? Like the fact that she pitches 90% of the time, whenever she gets on base, it's just kind of automatic. Send the courtesy runner in for her. But we noted it that she was a left fielder technically the last two times she's been lifted.
Uh-huh. And so we're seeing everybody now. Sherbrun calling over Rihanna Myers. They're discussing things at third base.
We have literally seen everything on this field in 3 days. Yeah, it's just I literally have called hundreds of softball games in the state of Iowa in my broadcasting career. Oh, and I cannot tell you I have ever seen somebody try to re-enter a third time.
Clarksville's throwing a lot of what do you want to say? Some curveballs at us this week. They're putting us through our paces. Well, we see somebody now from the Clarksville infield huddle run out to the outfield huddle. Maybe
it's Kara Boland, I think, just probably telling them what is actually happening because I don't think they know what's going on.
I wonder if the umpires too are thinking, well, if that wasn't an illegal re-entry, what is the penalty that we assess to Clarksville?
But that's the thing is, like,
here?
Usually you would see that happen, and the only thing that they can really do is like if it's an illegal pitch, it's an automatic ball,
Let me ask our friends here over in the box if they can provide us with some answers here. It looks like the umpires are possibly coming to a.
Well, and I wonder, this would be my thing, is if there's an official with the girls' union that might be able to help them because you would tell them that she can't come back in, but they didn't catch it in time, and a batter hit while she was on the field. So how does that change what we're doing here and how this goes? This game started at 3:02. There was supposed to be a scheduled game at 5:15, which was not going to happen because Edgewood Colesburg won their way through and swept their way through the other side of the bracket. So we're not cutting into another game. The game that could happen at 7:30 between these two teams if St. Edmond were to win is an hour away from technically starting. I don't know if we'll still be playing by then. But this certainly is going to add a little bit of intrigue to the governing of the game. But I've never seen this happen before.
Yeah,
I just have never seen it. Usually if somebody wanted to go do that, if you wanted to bring another girl in, for like a second time or a third time and she couldn't re-enter, usually somebody'd catch that before a pitch was thrown, say, hey, she can't be back in the game, and then she'd get replaced. But that didn't happen here. They pitched to another batter, and it was after the hit that finally somebody from the Fort Dodge St. Edmund dugout said and something to Bill Sherburne and said, hey, she's out there and she's been run for twice as a position player, and she can't re-enter the game.
I want to take off my headset here for just a minute and go see if I can figure out what the possible ramifications are if we do see this. So I'm going to step away for just a moment and let Emery just continue to talk you through things. I'll be off the mic for just a moment here.
All right, so the umpires continue to chat about this. Well, just reset where we're at right now. 12-12. The line score is going to look absolutely absurd for this game. Neither side has had a 1-2-3 inning. There's been at least walks or hits. There's only been one half inning for each team where they didn't get a hit, but both teams had a base runner in the inning at least. The St. Edmund Gales had a 7-5 lead going into the bottom of the sixth inning. Clarksville rallied as they have time and time again in their 3 games. They did it countless times against North Butler, and then last night against St. Edmund, this exact same Gales team, they scored 3 in the 6th yesterday to take a 1-run lead and then won that game 5-4. Here in this one, they put up a 7 spot to take what was a 12-7 lead after 6, and they were 3 outs away from moving into the state championship game without having to play another game tonight. Well, in the top of the 7th, St. Edmund said, we got this. It's okay. We still have 3 outs. A home run by Baylor Ulrich in the 9-hole, and then a walk to Ella Vandy, a double by Sophia Schlins, and then a single by Faith Sherbrun, and then a 3-run homer by Rihanna Myers, and all of a sudden it was a 12-12 game. And we haven't had a run score since then. Both teams have threatened and been unable to score on both sides since we started at extras. And here we are in the top of the 11th with, we think, a runner on second as we try to figure out what the lineup situation is for Clarksville.
So if I'm correct and if I've heard properly, if you have an illegal re-entry into the field, there is no penalty. There's no penalty charge to the defense. The bigger issue is obviously when it happens on the base paths or if a batter does it illegally, then it's an out charge against you, but there is no penalty for defensive
So this discussion
substitution.
can't be about a penalty. This discussion has to be about the lineup.
I really wonder
if card.
I honestly don't know if there's a potential penalty for a disqualification or something. If that's a potential
but even then, the player that we're talking about is the player we're talking about in left field. She would just be done anyway.
Right. Unless it carries over to another game or something. I'm speculating, frankly, right now.
But
I don't
know. That would be incredibly surprising. Like I said before, we noted that when she got run for in the last half inning, she was done. Based on the rules, Cindy Lovren could not re-enter the game based on what we understand as the rules. She was in left field and was run for the last 2 times she was out. I'm guessing it was maybe an oversight. Again, speculation. Maybe they intended to do that and then just accidentally forgot about it and snuck her out there in left field after the fact. But she pitches usually, so it's just they don't really think about it. When she gets on base, she gets run for. Well, when she's the left fielder and you do that, she can't be used as a courtesy runner, so she can't just have automatic, unlimited reentries.
Right.
And they did that twice, and then she came back in the game to play left field, and she shouldn't have been allowed to do that.
And the bigger concern again would be her coming to the plate. So I don't know if maybe Bill Sherburne or anybody at Fort Dodge St. Edmund should have waited to see if she re-entered at the plate before they.
And then they called in. Then it could have been an out.
It would have been an out.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they would do with her at this point. Do you? And if there is no penalty,
well, I just don't know what's taking so long if there is no penalty, right? Is it did they miss something in their scorebook?
Yeah.
On it? And if that's the case, was there a runner that came in that they didn't get in the book?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they allowed her to come back out in left field, or did nobody see it until Bill Sherburne brought it up after the first batter of the frame? Because they pitched to Rihanna Myers, and she doubled into left center field. Mm-hmm. And Lovren had nothing to do with that play. She didn't touch the ball there.
Right.
So, again, this is an extended discussion. We're probably knocking on 10 minutes since the last pitch we've seen.
And that might have been an issue, too, if she did record that out or had anything to do with that last play, then let's say it's a fly ball into the left field and she catches it, then maybe that's a situation where the batter was allowed to actually be on first base and no out is recorded, something like that.
But again, usually when somebody comes out of the dugout and they're not supposed to be there anymore, it's caught right away. The fact that this wasn't caught right away has created this snafu
and now,
here.
Both teams have just huddled up everybody. Katie Berman for Clarksville moving out there, and she's just called their entire defensive field in to discuss things in the infield, and Bill Sherburne, who's got the runner, the batter, and the on-deck player out there with him, along with his assistant coaches.
Well, and then, on top of this, right, this is an important game. I know that sounds ridiculous because, yeah, it's a state tournament, buddy. Of course it's an important game. But you're basically icing both of these teams, and especially the pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Reagan Weddeking's an 8th grader, and she's been pitching pretty well. I know she got touched up for the double here by Myers to start this inning, but you have to be thinking to yourself, right, like, what does this do to the mentality? Because you're just, like, not doing anything.
And I don't know who I'd say that even is more of a disadvantage to. Maybe it's Clarksville, I've got to say, with Reagan Wedeking, who's just an 8th grader in the circle, who she's got just a lot more time to think about, a lot more time to mentally run through the fact that she's got a runner on second base with nobody outs, and potentially another game here at the state tournament hanging in the balance. We've seen one umpire walk away from the fence as they've tried to discuss things over with the IGHSAU.
This has to be a first also. I'm not sure that this has ever happened before, like, to anyone. Again, because I've never seen anybody try to re-enter and nobody catch it.
Okay, the umpires have left the fence, so we're going to hear something.
Well, we won't hear it, but we'll have to deduce
Somebody's
what's going on.
got to tell us that first. They've got to discuss with the officials. Hopefully we get a call on a walkie-talkie up here and we can eavesdrop on that. But the umpires are going to get together, talk to Berman.
And Sherburne.
Talk to Sherburne.
Bill Sherburne, we talked about the havoc he wreaked on our scorebook early in the game with all of his defensive substitutions and everything. He's got to feel great about the way his team has continued to battle. It's been crazy, and obviously Clarksville, I called them the zombie Indians because they just never go away. They always come back to life. So
Katie Berman is kind of discussing things with the officials. Bill Sherburne kind of stands there just listening. This is a good time.
Whenever it's soccer, red card, and they have to play with 8 the rest of the game.
Yeah, these are the times where you do kind of wish you had a mic'd up situation out there, either with a coach or with an umpire. That would help us start to decipher things. Just take me and Emery off of the microphone and let us eavesdrop on what the conversation is down there, either at the fence or
and by the way,
in the
if
field.
St. Edmonds finds a way to win this game, we are right back here in. I mean, it's probably an ASAP situation.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is that there was supposed to be a game in between this one and potentially the nightcap, but at this point, boy, I mean, we're thankful that Edco won that game and got to the championship because otherwise we'd have another game to get through before we could get back to this game later in the evening.
Well, and even just at the same time, right, there was a built-in break potentially for these two teams before that next game was supposed to start.
Right.
That break is evaporated, so no matter what. So
players and the coaches separate. Berman heading back to the dugout. Well, she's going to go talk to her team first.
Well, she's going to have – so here comes and Lovren will come out of the game, and we're going to have Emerson Miller enter to play left, I would imagine. And I think that's it. Is that it?
After 15 minutes, is that all
that's all that's going to happen?
That happens?
So Miller was already technically in for her based on her pinch running for her a second time last inning. And it looks like that's it. So we talked that far about all of it, and all we had to do was just replace the outfield.
Well,
there we go. Anyway, we're back. Jade Rock at the plate. She shows bunt, and she went, but
I thought it was a foul ball.
I
Did
thought
she
it was
not
a foul
make
ball
contact?
also, but apparently no contact was made.
So just stolen base there for Rihanna Myers, who moves over to third. The aggressive base running continues for the Gales. I've got to do some work tallying up all the stolen bases they have today. They've got to be approaching 10 in this game.
0-1. She shows bunt, lays it down. They look to third, and then fire to first. Perfect play there. Excellently executed there by the pitcher, Wedeking, for the first out. And now Brecken Ulrich, who last time up hit what looked like could be a two-run hit, which was caught on a shoestring by the center fielder, Brooke Boland.
Which at the time we thought could play into this game, which, I suppose it did because it kept Fort Dodge St. Ed's from winning this game when Clarksville wasn't able to respond with any runs of their own. So that was at least a game-extending play. Could prove to be a possible game-winning play at some point.
Yeah, we'll see about it. Myers, the runner, at third base with one away. Ulrich's hit the ball well. Does just have 2 hits to show for it. Shows bunt again. Lays this one down. It rolls foul.
Smart defensive play there by Clarksville, just letting that thing go. You saw the catcher just kind of let things roll to the side because it was a run scoring.
Yeah,
if
and Wedeking yelling, let it go, and then she put her hands up like an umpire when it rolled foul. So 0-2, you'd think that plays off for Ulrich here with the runner on third. The pitch inside. The concept of this game being as crazy as it is, and the idea that if Fort Dodge St. Edmund wins, then we are right back here, and these two have to play another game for a trip to the championship game. It's unbelievable to think about. 1-2, high, 2-2. On deck is the slap hitter, Greenlee Crimmins.
I gotta say something about Reagan Wedeking and the work she's done so far. Again, until this game, only threw 8 2/3 innings this year, but only 1 earned run allowed this year.
That's high. Good catch by Lodge. That almost got too high and squirted out of her mitt. Ooh. And that could have been a run-scoring play. But it's full now with 1 out and a runner on third here to Ulrich. The freshman digs back in, facing the 8th grade right-hander. Wedeking fires. No, it's a looper into left, and it's down. Miller fields it and will get it in. Her throw's going to come home. What a throw, but not in time to get Myers. And finally, we have a breakthrough in extras as St. Edmund gets their 13th run on the board with the RBI single by Ulrich. I'm impressed by the throw there.
Yeah, got a little bit closer than what we thought it might.
Because she had to hold up to make sure it was not caught. As there's a bunt attempt by Crimmins, and that is foul. 0-1. This is the 7th trip to the plate for Crimmins, who has 2 infield hits, a fielder's choice, and 3 groundouts. All right, the infield way in, the outfield way in for this hitter. She's got one job. Let's move that runner to second base and maybe even third base. See how aggressive they are. She swings fully here and hits the screen. It's 0-2. I'm kind of surprised to not see Ulrich try to take off here. The closest player to second base, I think, is Bolin, the center field.
Center field.
And maybe that's why they're not running, is because she would be the one to cover second base in that situation. The 0-2, and that's a liner just foul. There's something going on at this field, man.
Farm Bureau Field, providing the Farm Bureau magic so far. Just Clarksville, I'm just tallying up the amount of innings they've played so far, between 11 today and 15 the other day. That's 26 innings just in 2 games.
Another foul ball.
Again, normally in the past, if you're a team that goes all the way to the championship, you're going to play 21 innings max. So far in just 2 games, Clarksville's found a way to play 26 of them. That doesn't count.
In 2 games.
So 33 total they've played so far.
Wow. 0-2 again to Crimmins, and another foul ball. Why not? How many can she hit?
She keeps attacking that third base line. If one falls, it could be a little flare over there into left field. And
because of how close Miller is in left, they're close all over the place, but it could squirt past her, and with the speed on the base paths, we're talking second and third, or maybe even a run-scoring play.
And that's kind of the wild card here with Emerson Miller. I don't know how much left field she's played this year.
0-2, and another one.
Emerson Miller, again, the youngster, the 8th grader who came in, now has to play left field. She'd been relieving Sydney Loverin all game, and now is relieving her for good. She'll be batting and playing in the field for her no matter what happens the rest of the way.
Another 0-2. This one is fair. Jordan with it. She'll throw to first, and the job is done. They do throw behind the runner, but not in time. 5-3. So that moves Ulrich to second, now 2 away. The old 7-pitch at bat with no balls. All strikes and foul balls. And now it is Olivia Andrew, who came on and hit last inning, 2 innings ago rather, in the 9th, and struck out with the bases loaded against Wedeking. Now Wedeking just trying to keep it to 1 run, and we know Clarksville, when they get behind in extra innings in this tournament, they come right back at you. But at least a 1-run deficit is not that hard for their offense to come back from.
They've done it multiple times. They've played so well with their backs against the wall. That seems to be where they've played their best, but will the magic end here? They've had 2 come from behind wins so far in the state tournament. 2 for 2, coming back to win it. Another chance to hear. They do it today. It'll send him to the 1A championship.
2-0 here to Andrew, and that's high. And Wedeking could be losing her a little bit here, and we got to keep in mind, she hasn't thrown a ton of pitches yet. She's just over 50 pitches in the game since she came on in relief. But how often has she gone this deep at a varsity level?
Probably never.
3-0. There's the strike. Andrew thought it was a ball, so she has to come back. A little bit of a walk of shame there. Have to retreat back into the batter's box.
There aren't many options if you're Clarksville because Lovren's out of the game no matter what. Brooke Bolin and Reagan Wedeking are the only other players who have thrown a single pitch this entire year.
This one is going to be low, and eventually it will be a walk issue to Andrew. So it will be Baylor Ulrich, who has homered in this game and has 3 RBIs. She will get a chance to bat here with runners on first and second and 2 outs. That is the second walk issued by Wedeking, and the first one was an intentional walk that she didn't actually have to throw the pitches.
Yeah, they would love to get this out just to avoid the top of the Fort Dodge State and Edmond order again. There are a lot of potential runs coming back up at the top if Ulrich is able to reach base safely here.
0-1 here to Baylor, who, as mentioned, homered as part of that 5-run 7th inning that kept this game alive. Clarksville will bat in the bottom of the inning no matter what. They trail by 1 right now, and it will be 8, 9, and 1 in the order due up in the bottom half. This is popped into the center. Bolin tracking it, and she's got it. About as sure-handed as any fielder in the outfield we have seen in 1A, and that will retire the side, but a run scores. A double by Myers. She is scored on the hit by Brecken Ulrich. And we head to the bottom of the 11th. Clarksville need 1 to keep this game going here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Back here, it is Clarksville batting in the 11th inning. Emery Songer, Owen Sebring, St. Edmund with their first opportunity to try to win this ball game defensively. And it will be Torrin Helly, who once again is out there. She's worked really hard as well, having to pitch this majority of this game. I don't think that was the plan. Rihanna Myers started the game but had to be lifted before she finished 3 complete innings, and Helly's been out there ever since. And now the Clarksville order 8, 9, and 1, a chance to try to tie the game, needing 1 to keep us going.
You know who's happier about this than anybody is the folks over at Edgewood Colesburg, because not only is this tiring both teams out, even though they're going to have a day break between now and the state championship on Friday, Edco also, I'm sure, sticking around just to get a chance to see whatever they can, do a lot more scouting, and they are getting lots and lots of innings to do some scouting here between Clarksville and St. Edmund.
It's a great point, and you're seeing a lot of secondary players on both teams have to play in some way, shape, or form, and you're getting a bit of scouting that way too. Hoodger leads us off. Gia has been hot at the plate today, and she hits this ball on a little pop, caught by the shortstop Myers for the first out, 1 away. So she had gotten 4 hits in this game, including 3 in a row, but there she's retired on the first pitch, and that brings up Eve Jordan, who, by the way,
I wasn't going to say it this time up. I don't want to do the curse again. So
all right, fine.
We'll discuss it after the at bat here. Because you got to think that after this one, if she goes down, it's going to probably be her last opportunity to extend certain things, this game included. But after her, we'll come back to the top of the order. Kate Lodge again, who again I've referenced many times and possibly done an announcer's jinx on.
Yeah, I mean, as many at-bats as they've had as this 1-1 here to Jordan, and she is still looking for her first hit. I mean, we just sound like a broken record. If you listen to the whole game, we're trying to paint a good picture here for you, but the games just never end. So we say it way more than we think we're going to.
One thing I will say that it has played a factor as the runners left on base in this game.
Oh, it's a huge number as there's
been
strike 2 called.
Now a combined 36 of them between both teams. St. Edmund with 17 left on, Clarksville with 19 runners left on base. A lot of those in scoring position, a couple in the early innings when they had the bases loaded and left them. Oh, man, a lot of opportunities left out there.
And again, I have to remind you, if this result holds, we play these two teams again here on this field. And I don't know how quick they can turn it around, but the game was scheduled to start at 7:30 already.
Yeah.
And we're at 6:48 or so.
St. Edmund would carry a lot of momentum into that game if they hang on to win this one here. That would be a big boost for them if they have to play again.
2-2 is the count with the 1 out, nobody on here to Eve Jordan. The pitch from Helly. High in the air in the center. Schlins moves just a few steps to her left, makes the catch, and they're 1 out away.
Well, I'll go ahead and say it now. Then that should put to an end her 14-game hitting streak. Eva Jordan came into this game with a 14-game hit streak dating back to about late June, or roughly about a month ago, but that comes to an end today. She reached base a few times today. 4 times she was on base, 3 with a fielder's choice, 1 with a walk, but then had 2 flyouts to center field and a ground out to the pitcher, and now Clarksville possibly down to their last chance, and Kate Lodge.
Lodge with nobody on. Her team down by 1 here in the 11th. Ground ball over Helly and into center field. It wasn't going to be that easy, you know. And this game for Lodge has been just outstanding. Got 3 RBIs, and that is her 5th hit.
Wow.
In 8 trips to the plate. 8! Wedeking now will bat with a chance to keep the thing going. She is 1 for 6 by my count.
And now that extends also, still not a single 1-2-3 inning in this entire game.
Yes, in 22 half innings. Wedeking up the middle. Vandy knocks it down, can't make the play. They got the out though because Myers picked up the ball as she was standing on second. What a heady play by their shortstop, Brianna Myers. And we will play another game. St. Edmund and Clarksville will see each other again in minutes. Oh, and Sebring, aren't you excited?
Couldn't be more excited.
What a game.
There's going to be a couple late nights on the road for you and myself. I'm going to be heading back to Cedar Rapids and you to Omaha after we wrap things up here tonight. But
I'll live here for the rest of my life.
Until that point comes, we're going to have a winner-take-all, do-or-die game once this thing wraps up in a little bit.
We're going to still shake hands because that's the protocol, and we're still going to give a player of the game. They're still going to get out there, and they're still going to get to put their sticker on to force this additional game. But it will be Clarksville and St. Edmund in just minutes. I would imagine we're going to stay pretty close to that 7:30 start time. So like a traditional doubleheader that a lot of these teams play throughout the season, you might be saying that's crazy talk. Well, they do this a lot during the season. They play 2 games in one day all the time. But my goodness, what a turn of events. A 5-run lead evaporates for Clarksville. It happens to them. They're on the bad end of it this time. 5 runs for Fort Dodge St. Edmund in the 7th, and then they finally play what is the winning run in the 11th. What an incredible game. I can't imagine what's going on in both of these dugouts now because you also alluded to it. That is momentum that absolutely is carrying over to tonight's game.
St. Edmund has to be riding quite a wave of momentum now, trying to prove everybody wrong because they knew after they lost to Clarksville yesterday, if they wanted any shot at making it to the championship game for the first time in program history, mind you, they were going to have to win 3 games in one single day, something that would be a nearly impossible feat for a lot of teams. Weirdly, that was something that Bill Sherburne even mentioned to me 2 days ago when I was asking him just about the double elimination format that the IGHSAU is implementing this year. He said, well, overall it's whatever. I don't care too much, but maybe just the style of the bracket because there's a possibility we could play 3 games on Wednesday. And here we are. Bill Sherburne almost spoke it into existence because here we are with Fort Dodge St. Edmund, the Gales. Won twice today already, first against Remsen St. Mary's and now against Clarksville, and then the coaches will meet again out there on the diamond, and we're going to play one more with a spot in the title game hanging in the balance.
And we'll have it for you. Owen and myself, we are going to be bringing it to you in just minutes, so stay with us here. You will not want to miss the rubber match in this tournament between these two teams with a trip to the state championship game on the line. You have been watching the Iowa Girls State Softball Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau on the Girls Union Network.
And here we are. Bill Sherburne almost spoke it into existence, because here we are with Fort Dodge St. Edmund. The Gales won twice today already, first against Remsen St. Mary's and now against Clarksville, and then the coaches will meet again out there on the diamond, and we're going to play one more with a spot in the title game hanging in the balance.
And we'll have it for you. Owen and myself, we are going to be bringing it to you in just minutes, so stay with us here. You will not want